In 2019, Michael X won the Wrestling Rundown Championship, taking the world by storm. But then, the virus attacked. These men promptly escaped from mental insanity by talking about the nerdiest shit on the internet, filmed in the Massachusetts underground. Today, still wanted by the people of YouTube, they survive as nerds, weebs, and dorks of fortune. If you have an obsession, if no one else can talk, and if you can subscribe to them, maybe you can hire the Indy Force.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new edition of the Indy Force. This is episode 6. And we have a new guest today because Casey could not make it.
It's fucked up face, Rob Van Dam.
We actually have the multi-reigning wrestling rundown champion and longest reigning as well, John Tuddy. Say hello, John.
What's up?
I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's actually Van Dam.
Take the dick out of your throat. that was gargling balls material. Holy shit!
What? Am I supposed to not say his accomplishments here?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the way that he fucking brought himself in was sup. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it looks just like that sounds like something that RVD would come up with.
That's what I thought.
That was the joke.
Yes.
So wow, yeah. So instead of John, we actually got
Van Dam, guys.
It's a win-win.
So it's Van Dam doing the Shawn Michaels impersonation. We got to get this right. Okay.
Anyway, let's continue. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Indy Force. We are at episode 6.
Yep.
6.
Episode 6.
So, guess what we're going to be talking about? Let's see if somebody can get it in the comments. Well, you're wrong. Okay, except for maybe that one guy. No, not him. The other one. No, the first guy. The guy that did it after. Yeah, that guy.
Or girl.
Shocking. WWE is forcing their workers to fucking work on TV tapings.
Nikos, read the article if you could, please.
Yeah, let me just pull it up.
Because we've been covering the story as it developed.
It has been. We're like the one news network that has been covering it when not a news network.
No. The other Wrestle Talk has, but and other wrestling sites have, but I don't think to the level of truth that we do it at, which is this shit's kind of fucked.
I mean, we've been covering the story since the first day, and we've been up to date on this nonstop. So
there you go. But yeah, ProWrestling.com. Nikos, take it away.
Sure thing. So this article was posted by Mike Kalam 2 or 3 days ago. And it's called WWE Employee Tells Florida Officials They're Being Forced to Work TV Tapings. WWE Responds. Due to Tuesday's Board of County Commissioners meeting in Orange County, Florida, a public comment was read from an alleged WWE employee referred to only as John. Not you, John, the other John.
Yeah.
The comment, as first reported by
sneaky RVD bastard.
He's our whistleblower.
I am the wind caller, and I shoot monkeys now.
I mean, John, I knew you were busy, but I didn't know you went to frickin' Stanford. I mean, holy shit.
Let's be real. I think we all need to go to Stanford at this point.
No.
It's a coup.
Listen. I don't want to go back to Connecticut. I went to Connecticut. There was a zoo. That's all I remember about Connecticut.
Was it WWE headquarters?
No.
I mean, there was this big baboon with huge tits, so I mean...
Oh, you saw Stephanie. Okay.
Whoa!
Am I wrong?
Oh, what? You okay?
Moving on. The comment, as first reported by John Alba for Spectrum News 13 in Orlando, read as follows, quote unquote, "My employer, World Wrestling Entertainment, aka WWE, is forcing me to work the TV tapings for its weekly shows despite stay-at-home orders for coronavirus. I am unable to speak out as I need this job, and I know I will be fired if I approach my higher-ups. Despite precautions, we cannot maintain social distancing and have to touch other people. I request the government to shut down these tapings and enforce the stay-at-home order so my colleagues and I may follow social distancing rules without fear or repercussion of losing our jobs." WWE has issued the following statement in response, quote unquote, "These accusations aren't true. Employees know they can confidently go to human resources, not the public. Notwithstanding..."
Yeah,
That's why that's
right?
where the sentence fails. That is where the sentence fails.
That is.
Let me explain. Who does human resources usually have to contact for specific manners? Corporate.
Yep.
What does corporate usually do if somebody goes to human resources and make a complaint? Fire their asses.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Notwithstanding the appropriate protocol, no one would be fired if they were uncomfortable with their surroundings. We've made accommodations for individuals upon request. And below that, there are tweets from John Alba saying, "I will have a development on the WWE essential business situation in a couple of moments. Stand by." And he retweeted, "At Tuesday Orange County Board of County Commissioners meeting, a WWE employee named John submitted public comments. They're being forced to work, quote unquote, TV tapings despite stay-at-home orders. Says he's unable to speak out and feels he will be fired if he approaches his higher-ups."
Which is honestly, he's right.
Well, I mean, look at
Indeed.
what happened with Roman Reigns. They've completely stopped mentioning him.
Well, it's not even just him. That's a corporate problem to begin with anyway. I mean, I worked with a bunch of people that worked in, you could say the retail / grocery side of things. You go to human resources, they're going to just be, we don't need to worry about that complaint. Or that complaint is all the way over here. You can just push it over there. Don't worry about it. Or it gets to the point of, get the fuck out. Go. Screw. And you're like, what did I do? I was just, listen, I'm sorry that my manager keeps touching me inappropriately because I'm a woman.
Yeah, John, what about you? What do you got to say on this whole matter? Because I know you haven't really kept up with it for good reason creatively, but this is a whole new situation, obviously, in these times.
As someone who is deemed as an essential worker and has to go into work, I'll say that giving entertainment, and I'll put that in very high quotation marks, should not be essential.
No.
Wait, hold on. How high? We're talking about like here, or we're talking about like up here?
I can't see, so I don't know what you're talking.
Just saying, it's above my head.
He's doing air quotes. Like, is it entertainment high above or a little bit like on the typical high? Like, is it that?
Listen, it's either here.
Is it
it's either here or it's all the fucking way up here.
Yeah. Are the air quotes for entertainment standard high or like really, really high air quotes?
I'm like really emphasizing it. Like, remember that newscaster SNL skit that Chris Farley did?
Yes.
Basically that.
Yeah. True.
Oh.
So Rob Van Dam in the back of ECW One Night Stand High.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
You're
all.
not wrong. Not wrong.
Higher than a kite, but lower than a cloud.
You know what? frustrates the shit out of me too?
What?
Just the treatment of Roman now. Like they're not even mentioning it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna hear he's one of these guys that just got released.
Well,
I'm actually convinced that that's what's happening.
here's the problem with it, and this is like the major issue. If baseball's down, if football is down, if basketball is down, if hockey is down, if European football is down, if all these sports are down, what gives WWE the ability to fucking stay open? Because remember, the first title is sports entertainment.
Yeah.
What keeps them open? What gives them the free pass to continue? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, but you're going to give AEW the free pass. Yeah, but they've been doing the correct shit. That's why.
Yeah, they
haven't been doing this shit.
They at least have people properly. What is it? What do they do?
Like they had a certain protocol.
Yeah,
they
right.
Followed that correctly into the leading months.
And they actually taped 2 months of shows before Double or Nothing.
Which was smart.
Basically, yes.
Smart.
That's stupidly smart, honestly. That's why I give them the pass.
I'd be for this if that's how WWE handled it. That's the problem. They're not.
No, they're being dicks about the whole
unnecessary. They are putting them at an unnecessary risk. AEW has also been doing it right in the fact that anybody that didn't feel comfortable going didn't have to go. So you're not seeing your typical, you're not seeing the Lucha Brothers, you're not seeing Pac, you're not seeing all these other guys. I'm sure a lot of that is also due to travel restrictions, but even then, like I know certain people don't have travel restrictions. They could get a private jet to go to freaking Georgia if they wanted to. But Tony Khan didn't force them to do it.
No. And that's why Tony Khan beats Vince McMahon.
Yes, by a landslide.
Actions speak louder than words here, but and that's and this leads into my point. Are we really shocked that Vince is this fucking anal about it? I mean, we're talking about the same guy, which has now recently come out, and we'll get to it later on when we talk about the Vice documentaries that pretty much gave hush money allegedly to
allegedly
to halt the Jimmy Snuka case and get him cleared. So, does it really shock anybody at this point? Does it really shock anybody that that's what Vince McMahon's doing?
No, I mean, but that's the whole thing. Is that should we be shocked?
No, I'm not.
I mean, I wish I was. I wish I could sit there and say, yeah, it's super fucked up, but.
It is. Well, that's the thing. I'm still pissed about it. Am I shocked? No, because it's Vince McMahon.
Agreed.
Vince McMahon cares about, and this is where I say, and everybody tells me, and I think John and I have even had arguments about this, that Vince McMahon cares in some degree. Yeah, only if it benefits him at the end of the day. If it first benefits Vince, then he cares about them.
Oh no,
Otherwise, he couldn't give two shits.
Vince only cares really about Vince, and that's really reflected on the show, where the whole show was really meant to entertain him.
Yes.
I mean, let's put it in perspective. The guy turned himself, and I hate to put it like this, but it is absolutely true, into one of the greatest heels of all time.
And now he's lost in his heel persona and almost.
Absolutely.
Actually, no, I can't even say that. He's always been that asshole. I was about to say, oh, he turned into that. No, he's always been that way.
No, it came out more when he was heel Vince McMahon, where he's hiring women to make out with him live on fucking television to get his ego up there because, let's be honest, his wife is what the equivalent of a bat hitting a stick at high velocity on a fucking way.
Wow.
The ugly bat. She is not an attractive woman, and I'll be honest, she's not.
I'm surprised attractive is even in the adjective.
No, attractive isn't in the adjective. It's the only way that you can describe everybody else that isn't Linda McMahon. It's like when they say the apple fell far from the tree. Well, this one was run over by the fucking lawnmower.
Facts.
I feel, you know what though? I still feel bad for her considering she didn't deserve what she got. To be
Yeah,
honest.
but she signed up for it. Listen,
Well,
listen.
now she has.
Listen,
when it first happened, and he
If
just
you sign up for the platinum card, when you sign up for the platinum card, you get all the fees that are upon that platinum card.
Yeah, by the way, Mike, you might want to move your camera a little further down because you're.
Oh no, I'm sitting I'm slouching down in my chair. That's what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like over the course of time, I'm slouching down. Hold on, it's because my back support is all fucked up. There we go.
So I'm sure. So that's unanimous then. Is that Vince is basically the moral of the story of this article is
Don't be a Vince McMahon.
Yeah, Vince is a terrible person.
Great heel.
Is that unanimous?
Yeah, honestly, I mean,
Yes.
my only devil's advocate.
Unanimous with you. Do you think he's a terrible person? In scope of everything, not just this, but in everything.
I think he's just a whack. Can't really call him a bad person. I just think he's a nut. That's all. It's like, put him in a straitjacket and put him in an insane asylum at this point.
Well,
Right.
Yeah.
But here's my thing.
Does that really make him a bad person? Not really, no.
Here's my problem with that. I would agree with you if I didn't feel like he wasn't conscious to a degree, and he is. And the fact that he kind of allegedly, high RVD quotes, allegedly gave hush money.
We'll get to that.
Snuka. Well, no, I was gonna segue into that anyway. The fact that he did that to bail Jimmy Snuka out of his case with Nancy Argentino, that shows you, like, he's very well aware if it benefits him.
Listen, here's the question:
that's not to say your argument is not correct, John. He's definitely a whack job, but it doesn't mean that he's not.
Listen, I am not saying that Vince McMahon has ever killed anybody, but I'm just saying that he may have been involved in situations that don't look very good on his behalf.
Oh no, that's true.
Allegedly.
That's true for most sports commissioners.
Which is fucked up to think about.
Yeah. It's just fucked. Like, at some point, a line has to be drawn where you should care about your employees, one, and two, you shouldn't defend people if they murdered anybody.
Agreed. But that's the whole thing.
The imagination, and Vince knew.
But here's my problem with the situation. He's protecting Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the opposite Undertaker.
It's true.
Who's pretty much almost never won a WrestleMania.
Didn't Undertaker technically retire him from the WWE?
Yes, Undertaker's the reason. If I remember correctly, he retired from the WWE because he fought Taker.
Yeah.
How many victories does fucking Jimmy Superfly have at WrestleMania? I'll tell you this, none.
I don't think he wrestled more than like twice on the event anyway.
I could look that up. It'll only take a second.
Well, I mean, that's not the only thing he was responsible for. I mean, fuck, he was responsible for, fucking, supporting a pimp as well in Mae Young. Or not Mae Young, fucking...
Fabulous Moolah, the other one.
Yeah. Because Mae Young was okay in comparison to what Moolah did behind the scenes.
Well, that's every promoter. That's not just on Vince, it's on every promoter.
No, it's true.
Yeah, now, and some of those same promoters are a part of Donald Trump's cabinet. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying you're not wrong. Oh, by the way, to answer the question, he's appeared at 3 WrestleManias and has lost 3 times in a row.
Okay.
He's lost to Roddy Piper, he's lost to Hogan, and he's definitely lost to The Undertaker.
Oh, there you go. He was the first one to have 0-3 on their record of WrestleMania.
Jimmy Superfly loses all the fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
like for the legend that he is, Mr. fucking
Legend.
Body Splash from the Fiji Islands. Yeah, he's not a winner. He is a big fat fucking loser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That famous spot, the whole him diving off the cage on Del Morocco. He lost that match.
Yeah, he did. That's why it's like it's a great spot, but God, you're an idiot.
No. That
you know
happened.
what?
It happened after the match, but we'll get to the reason why Snook.
Can I
probably
be
didn't trust
honest?
Snuka.
Can I be honest? It wasn't that impressive if you look at the scale of the cage. Eddie Guerrero, on the other hand, when he did it to JBL on SmackDown, that was more impressive.
Well, yeah. Keep in mind this is back in like '83, so it's not like.
Yeah. I know. I'm pointing it out there. Like it's still relevant that Eddie Guerrero's frog splash from the top of the cage was better than Snuka's.
Correction, Mankind's was the best.
Yeah, it was.
Mankind hit a table,
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was considered one of the greatest spots in wrestling history.
but he did. No,
The table put so
Top
many
of the
people
top.
over though.
Elbow drop from the top of the steel cage.
I'm talking standard steel cage. I'm not
Yes.
talking about.
Mankind.
I'm talking about Hell in a Cell.
No, he did. Mankind rips open the shirt, just like Snuka, and jumps from the top of the cage and hits an elbow drop. I remember this match because it was one of the first matches I ever watched.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. It's up there for me, but I don't
That's
know.
way better
Man.
than Splash.
Eddie Guerrero was more physically impressive and also a lot more risky considering
then
he
fucking
legit jumped off.
Then I'm sorry. Angle completely beats fucking Eddie Guerrero
the
because he does the moonsault.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that might be the one. Just because.
Which then means that Jeff Hardy beats Angle because he does the swanton bomb on top of the steel cage.
Nah, that you can make that safe. I think Angles would probably have to be the one. Now, which Angle moonsault are we talking about? Are we talking about the one he did on Ken Anderson at Lockdown?
Yeah, probably.
About the one.
The only one that James. It's the only one that matters.
Are we talking? We're talking the one with Benoit where he just completely eats shit.
Yes, he completely eats shit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Then I agree with that.
All right, so
that might be the
Let's
best
not
guy.
talk about Chris Jericho when he did the move off the top of the steel cage.
Just
To imitate Jimmy Superfly Snuka. That was kind of weak, to be honest.
I mean, I would say Angles because he didn't actually have a target. Let's be honest. Anybody that does a dive off the top, like even Ricochet's, like I'm sure there's going to be comments like, what about Ricochet at War Games? He didn't get everybody and he wasn't really that on target. Like if there wasn't people catching him, he'd be dead. You know what I mean? It is risky, but you also got to remember, like, it's got to be, like, clean, or if you're going to do the move, you can't have a target. Like, the target has to move out of the way. So, to me, yeah, it would have to be Angle as, like, the best.
I make cue cards.
Even, like, Angle versus Benoit, what was it, Raw? Was that in July of 01? I don't remember now. It's been fucking ages. But yeah, that would be the one. Probably the best dive off the cage. So the point is, there are 15 other cage spots that have beat it since. That's the point.
Yeah. All right, so let's move. Should we
let's
move
continue.
on to the Vice documentaries, or
Yeah, we might as well since we segued.
Yeah, we'll go straight on to it because of the fact that we did start talking about fucking I always lose Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And listen, as I said before, I'm not saying the man killed anybody.
allegedly?
Allegedly. I mean, I'm definitely not saying he killed anybody. But I am saying that he definitely was a part of it. Yeah, I definitely made a sign that just says yes and no because I got bored.
Yeah, remember, John can't actually see.
Listen, I'm not saying he killed anybody, but it definitely was at the WrestleMania when he fought The Undertaker, it was the Dead Man versus The Undertaker.
Haha. Haha. Puns. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Vice documentaries. Obviously, John and I will go on this because John and I have watched every single one except for the Dino Bravo one that released this week. So, yeah. What's been your favorite, John? Because for me, favorite, as if this documentary talks about good shit.
I would say like the most interesting one, because I was surprised this guy kept getting job after job after job after every single thing that he's done wrong, including stabbing people in the ring.
I can answer the question, teacher. I can answer the question.
What?
Is it New Jack?
No, it's the Raw for All. No, I'm joking.
you're-
Yeah, it's New Jack. It's New Jack.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You mean Mr. I crippled an 18-year-old kid to the point that he would never wrestle again, or the guy who beats a 70-year-old man because the guy happened to hit him with a couple stiff shots to the back of the head, or the one where he stabs an individual in the ring because the guy gives him a couple stiff punches.
Okay, that guy, by the way, is a freaking moron. The one he stabbed in the ring.
Oh yeah, of course. Because why would you do a match with New Jack?
No. Not only that, that's dumb on its own. But New Jack goes to prison, and he comes to him in the prison and said, "I'll drop the charges if you want to do a program with me." And New Jack's like, "Yeah, sure. Drop the charges first." Guy drops the charges. New Jack puts everything in storage and leaves Florida. He never goes back. What an idiot! What a god.
I would never want to do that. Like
Nah, screw that shit, dude.
To me, at that
No,
point, like
no
he's
one
an
would.
idiot. Like I understand he was probably thinking, like, well, you know what? I gotta get something out of this.
No, you're forgetting.
You escaped with your life against New Jack in the ring. Don't tempt fate by trying to make this into a fucking
Stop. Listen, you were just stabbed by the man 17 times.
No, he
Stop.
stabbed 9. He stabbed them 9.
Yeah, he counted.
He counted it with 9.
Not from the fucking video I saw. That looked like he stabbed him with shit.
No, the meme is he
I know.
stabbed 9 times.
I know, but he stabbed the shit out of him. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
28 stab wounds.
You fucking asshole.
Because
New Jack did the 28 stab wounds meme before it was cool.
28 stab wounds. Just didn't want to give the guy a chance, huh?
So just to go through them all, the Benoit ones are probably technically the best put together, but
It's
I've seen it too much. Like it's one of those things where like I've seen too like I've heard all the
it's
stories.
so traumatizing. It is the most depressing
Agreed.
documentary.
It's the darkest day in wrestling history.
I wouldn't. Okay.
Oh,
I would say it's the shadow that hits the valley. I wouldn't say it's the darkest day, because the darkest day is when Eddie dies, and then the shadow that gets cast in the valley permanently is Benoit.
just that whole time period between 2005 2007 for the
Oh yeah, that's the worst 2 years ever when it comes to
like the end
back
of
to back.
2005. I would say the end of 2005 to 2007 and like those 2 years specifically the worst.
Agreed.
But a little rant, because this pissed me off thinking about this now. Have you heard now granted it's still shitty that all those WWE guys got released, but have you been hearing, and John, I know you have, this is the darkest day, this is darkest Wednesday in WWE history. I'm like,
No.
They called it Black Wednesday or something.
Well, that usually happens like after a mass firing. Like the NFL has Black Monday the day after the season ends, but it's not the darkest day in wrestling. Sorry, it's not the darkest day in WWE.
It's not even
It's
close.
like-
People are saying
I can name at least 5, like, and most of them we'll cover here.
Yeah.
Has the Vice documentary gone over Owen Hart yet, or no?
That's the
it's
season.
going to. That's the ending of it. I
That's
think
the season finale.
That's the season finale.
That's honestly the worst. That's like one of the worst tragedies in wrestling history for the fact that came out of literal nowhere.
You know,
Because with Benoit, there were at least signs that things were going to happen, and people said, "Oh, he's not going to do it," and then he fucking did it. With the thing of Owen, it was he fell, he hit the ring, and then he was dead, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Right.
Hang on, did he hit the ring or did he hit the turnbuckle first?
Turnbuckle.
I've heard he's hit the ropes. I heard he hit the canvas. I've heard he's hit
It was
the fucking.
turnbuckle. That's exactly how it happened.
I've heard, as I've said throughout history, that it changes all the time. From what I've heard,
he hit head first on turnbuckle. His neck ricocheted, and he was paralyzed and dead within a minute.
Because I've been trying to find videos of this, and I read
Then
something
you will-
that
you will
WWE would
never
never leak.
You
that.
will never find it.
No.
Exactly.
You are
No.
Nikos looking for a needle in a fucking. You're looking for a piece of hay in a needle stack. It's not going to happen.
True.
So yeah, let's see. Other ones they're doing here is David Schultz, Herb Abrams, and the UWF, the Road Warriors, and they're ending with Owen Hart.
Yep.
Specifically,
I'm
are we talking about the Road
shocked.
Warriors and specifically Hawk and how
I
they-
think I think they're mainly covering Hawk. I think that's what they're. I think. That's
I think that's one of the saddest ends of a wrestler's career. Honestly, we can go over it really quick if you guys don't mind. We're talking about the Legion of fucking Doom. We're talking about the Road Warriors. Like the
greatest tag team.
You know what? I will say it's one of the. I wouldn't say it is because he did get a little bit of redemption, and the moment I'm talking about is, I'm pretty sure they came back to Raw in 2003 to fight a tag team. I don't know if it was the Dudleys. Was it the Dudleys or was it La Resistance? I don't remember.
LOD 2003. You said.
Yeah, it was 2000. I know it was 2002 or 2003. They had like a one-off match on Raw.
They would. No, you're looking at 2000. No, it couldn't have been 2003. No, it wasn't 2003 because then Hawk dies. There's the Hall of Fame thing. I know that they fought Rob Van Dam in 2005. In 2000,
it might have been Van Dam and Kane.
it probably. Hold on, let me take a look. LOD.
I think it's Van Dam and Kane. Is it?
Those were probably the tag champs at the time, or
Yeah. So
I would
say even though he
Yep,
lost,
It's Van Dam and Kane fighting off against the Road Warriors. And
Yeah,
from
yeah.
what I remember, that match
he
is
had
not.
he had redemption at least. He had that one last match. So
Yeah, but it's still the fact that you're talking about fucking the LOD. We're talking about the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, probably the most. I'm sorry. I understand that people are going to be anti-me for a minute, but you will never get a more legendary tag team ever than the Legion of Doom.
No.
Just by look, gimmick, just by their gimmick alone, themes choice when they would come out, and general moveset, they were the force to be reckoned with.
yeah.
At the
They were-
time, of course.
They're the coolest fucking tag team when you're a little kid, and it still holds up today. Are they the most technical? No, but you tell me when you're fucking looking at it, like as we'll say 9-10 years old, and you see the Doomsday Device for the first time, you're losing your shit of how cool that move
Dude,
was.
just imagine too if Hawk was able to survive. There was a legitimate possibility we probably could have gotten a Road Warriors Dudley Boys dream match. That's the depressing part.
Yeah.
About that.
I mean, they did get Kane and RVD, and that tag team is not terrible.
That's a more evenly matched when you think about it, because
It's a little bit
Kane's the
because
big guy, Animal's the big guy, Hawk's more the high flyer, Van Dam's the high flyer, so it made sense.
anyways.
But anyway, that's beside the point.
So yeah, it started out with Benoit, which is kind of obvious. That was the one they were going to do first.
Yeah.
Yep. Then went to New Jack, which
Holy shit!
yeah, I mean, it got me to watch some of his Smoky Mountain stuff. You know, his promos and stuff, and
but
that was great
promo work. He's
Oh no, he ain't good in the ring at all. No,
he is a talker, and that's all he can be.
Yep.
The man is literally a one-trick pony. He's not worth the time.
Also,
of day.
the highlight was the Sandman. They got the Sandman for this, which was perfect for where they found him in a bar somewhere in Philly.
In a bar.
With one foot in the grave.
Pretty much.
You would be of when he had foot in the ground, because he comes back. If you get to know which ECW taping it is, but
Oh yeah.
what if I told you that Sandman died once and came back to wrestle the same day?
I would totally believe you.
Sandman OD'd. This is a story by Tommy Dreamer, and it's been confirmed by a bunch of others. Sandman died. They dropped his body off at the hospital. 6 hours later, when show was about to happen, everybody went, "Where the fuck's Sandman?" Because he's supposed to appear. And then he goes strolling through the front door with the IV still in his arm, and he goes, "Oh, what did I miss?" He was clinically
He was dead.
dead. He was dead.
Clinically considered dead. And he came back to life and went to the show to wrestle.
I mean, I know that Sandman's no longer on the junk anymore, but
he's definitely not on the junk. But I don't care what you want to tell me. There may, just off that alone, there may not be a more passionate man for the industry than Sandman just for that alone. I'm just saying. He came back to life. He was dead, and he was like, "Fuck you, God. I'm going to wrestle, and you ain't gonna stop me."
Listen, I ain't dying until I go to WWF. And then he literally did it like
my boss might not pay me, but I pride myself on commitment. Fuck you, God.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. Is that I'll say it now that he's fantastic.
Yep.
You will get a more loyal wrestler in your business than Sandman. If he works for you, he works for you, and he will work his ass off if he can.
There was one last comedy thing before we move on to the next one is Mustafa Saeed, who was the partner of New Jack. They told the story of how he used to smoke pencil shavings.
That's not shocking.
No.
That's not shocking. I mean,
Yep.
You're talking to the wrong person when it comes to goofy shit in wrestling.
And then
in comparison.
And then we got what many people consider to be the worst creative decision in the history of wrestling.
The Brawl for All.
The Brawl for All.
Let's get our wrestlers wearing fucking boxing gloves, right?
We don't know how to box.
Don't know how to box. We're gonna have our wrestlers wear boxing gloves, right? And then what they're gonna do? Hold on, I gotta say this so that way you understand where we're coming from here. We're gonna put boxing gloves on them, but they're not gonna be shoot fights, but they are gonna be shoot fights. Everybody's confused, and then they're gonna fight, and then Dr. Death Steve Williams is supposed to get a push, doesn't get a push. He gets buried in 4 seconds to a jobber. Then the jobber goes and fights Butterbean and gets his ass whooped. That's that entire thing done and over with.
Meanwhile, you got a bunch of people with legitimate injuries and concussions, and their career is shortened because of it.
James, I have one question for you since you are the wrestling super nerd amongst the four of us. Who is the original third member of the Legion of Doom?
There was an original third member?
There's an original third member before Heidenreich and all that other goofy shit. There's a third member of the Legion of Doom. Specifically in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
You're telling me you've never heard of the...
I haven't gotten that far back. I only know...
So you don't know about...
Remember, I'm new to New Japan.
I understand, but you've never heard of Power Warrior?
Oh, Power Warrior.
Power Warrior was the third Legion of Doom member.
All right. I completely forgot he existed until you.
Oh, dude, like he's such a counter to Hawk and Animal because he's like this little Japanese dude standing next to him, but he looks fucking sick.
Well, if you're talking about WWF, the third member was Sonny. For some reason.
No, she wouldn't be counted as a member. She's a valet.
Yeah.
Third member would be Heidenreich. By the way, here's the image.
Shit. Fucking Heidenreich.
Fucking Heidenreich.
I remember this dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. He's super sick.
Why is he in green?
Because he wanted to be different. James.
What the fuck? Why is he... Okay, sure.
Yeah,
all right.
Power was literally being the third member of the Legion. And then after he left, he just continued doing his stuff in Japan and is super fucking sick. There's Hawk, there's Animal, and then there's Power Warrior, and he's fucking awesome. He's such a cool wrestler, honestly.
Pretty cool.
Anyway, that's put him on my top 10 list, but I don't know that much about him, but I know he's really fucking cool. From what I remember.
What other documentaries that have been released? There was
the only one was Snuka. The only other one Snuka.
Yeah, so Snuka one, and then we'll get to the Dino Bravo one obviously on the next edition.
Yep.
But yeah, that was those documentaries, basically the whole reason why the Brawl for All happened was just to give an excuse. John talked about it off air for Vince Russo and Jim Cornette to go after each other again.
That was basically it.
It's a terrible fucking business idea. Let's do boxing because we had fucking Muhammad Ali appear once, and then we had
Tyson. Then we had Tyson.
No, not just Tyson. You got to remember, Mr. T and fucking Rowdy Piper had a boxing match.
Oh yeah, that.
In a boxing match. Except the problem is, both of those gentlemen were boxers.
Yep.
So.
The Brawl for All proceeded to get no one over. Everyone got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And proceeded to kill the career of Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Uh-huh. And not just kill the career of Dr. Death Steve Williams, almost make JR quit. Literally almost make JR quit. Like, straight up give the...
Yep.
So...
And then they had draws on the show, too, which was kind of sad to see. And he's in high spirits, so that's always...
He's okay, but let's be honest, it's... it's not the greatest thing in the world. So I know... did they cover the Von Erichs?
Yeah, they did in season 1.
Okay, so they covered the Von Erichs...
We're on season 2 now, so they covered the Von Erichs and they covered a bunch of shit in season 1 prior to this.
Yeah, because I know that they covered the Match Made in Heaven, which would be Macho Man and Elizabeth. I know they covered the Montreal Screwjob. They did the killing Bruiser Brody, which shocking.
Mhm.
And I know that they did the mysterious death of gorgeous. I think it's Gino.
Gino, yeah.
Lismola as well. But yeah, so I know that the last one is the assassination of Dino Bravo, which is shocking.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. There's one more fucking story that I'm surprised they're not going to cover, but I don't remember what it is.
Again, I don't expect them to cover everything. They're probably saving a lot of the shit they're covering for season 3.
Jeff Hardy. Victor Road. That's got to be one.
Dude, the fact that he's still wrestling now after his last... I would have just forced him into retirement after that. Like, honestly, at that point, he's a liability to his family, and then he's a liability to our business. I gotta let you go.
Does he still work for WWE?
I think so.
Why?
I think they're going to cover the Magnum TA car crash.
That's season 3, I think. They're definitely going to cover that in season 3.
Because I know that there's still the death of Andre, which everybody would fucking love to see. The death of Brian Pillman. There's fucking D'Lo versus Draws.
Well,
they talked about that on the Brawl for All. So
okay.
As an episode.
I highly doubt they're going to cover the death of Eddie Guerrero because that thing's been covered.
They did that with.
They already did that in the Benoit documentary.
Really? They already did that quick? I'm shocked.
Yeah. In part 1 of the
it was
Benoit
just small
documentary, it goes
segments of
over Eddie's death and how it affected Benoit and everyone else in the industry, and then.
If they're doing the Vice documentaries, then guess what they get to cover if they decide to do it? Steroid abuse.
The steroid trials.
I guarantee.
That's the last episode.
Guarantee you that's going to be on the end of season 3 if they do it.
That has to be the end of the whole thing because it's like you can put prescription drugs, alcohol, steroids, fucking that's all in one category. Let's be honest.
Since we're on this topic, obviously, since we're kind of just haphazardly going over the Vice documentaries and we kind of just covered everything. We already talked about obviously the Snuka stuff. That's pretty much done, and we're not going to spoil everything. I would highly recommend anybody check these out.
Okay, let's just make sure we all agree on this. He killed her, right? Yeah,
yes.
I think we all agree on that. Okay,
yeah,
yep.
100%. He's a fucking murderer.
I'm not saying. Listen, as I said, I'm not saying that he killed anybody. Let's get that out there. I am not saying that Jimmy Superfly ever killed anybody, but
just so John knows,
the man guilty.
I don't think John
is the man guilty though. I'm not sure.
He's got.
I fucking love this stupid sign gimmick. It's super funny.
He has a yes sign and a no sign.
Yes and a no sign, and one side says yes, one side says no, and my God, I feel like I'm sign guy Mikey. Okay.
So side talk about it on the Vice documentary.
Side guy Mikey, fucking kill me.
Hey, you're like sign guy Dudley.
Hey, that's the joke, dumbass. That's the joke.
Should Chris Benoit Jr. exist? Obviously, this was a
You mean David Benoit?
point after David talked about it, and he wants. I think. Well, it wasn't on the Vice documentary itself, but I did watch his interview with Chris Van Vliet right after, and he said he wanted to go as Chris Benoit Jr. and
No.
I'm gonna kill you. I hate to put it like this, and I understand his father had several mental issues. There's not much that could have been done about that situation. But if he's going to go as anybody, it would be one thing to go as Pegasus Kid. It is another thing to be literally called Chris Benoit Jr.
I don't even. If he's gonna go as anybody, I think he should just be David.
I understand that his father is his hero, and he,
But his dad murdered his son. He killed his brother and killed his mother.
Stepmother.
Sorry, yeah, stepmother. I'm sorry. It's nothing against David, but
So Chris Benoit Jr. No. David Benoit.
Or how about just David?
But he has to go.
I don't. You know what? No. I think he should at least keep the last name Benoit. I think if there's going to be any sense of healing for anybody that went through that, you need to have him be David Benoit. I don't think that he should. I
think that he should go by his own name.
Yeah, 100%. They're gonna know who he is.
Exactly.
They're gonna know who he's gonna base his wrestling style of, and that's fine, so long as he doesn't adopt the fucking diving headbutt.
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say this right now. The diving headbutt should be the rarest move in wrestling, and
never should be done. I don't even think it should be rare. I think it should.
Let me put it like this: the only time you should be able to do it is if you put a helmet on in a hardcore match. That's
even then. Your brain still rattles. It doesn't matter what protection you have.
I agree. I'm just saying it's like at least it looks. I mean, let's be honest, even scarier than fucking.
Yeah, fine. Once every 4 years, if you're doing a hardcore match, fine, diving headbutt. Other than that, fuck no.
Yeah, fuck no.
As far as David being in wrestling, the only place that will ever accept him is AEW. I'm convinced. Definitely. No way.
Of course.
There's no way WWE is taking him in, even though it's shitty, and they should, considering the fact that they kind of just stopped all communication with him for no reason when he wasn't the one that committed the crime. But
guilty by association.
at this point, AEW is where he wants to be anyway. I'm pretty sure.
I agree with that.
True.
Honestly, I hate to put it like that.
The last show he was at, like in years, was that was AEW Revolution, right? He was there.
Yeah, he was there with Nancy's sister.
I'll say this, and I know I'm going to get some flack for it, but he should go to AEW on the principle of what that company did to his dad.
Yeah.
WWE did not help that situation or have that man psychologically tested after every couple matches he was in.
Yeah, anybody that wants to say steroids didn't play a part, it did. I'm not saying it played.
Oh no, it's a combination of
mental fucking disorder and on top of steroids.
Blows to the head,
abusing alcohol, the death of Eddie, everything.
Yeah.
And plus, no one helped him.
No, nobody helped him.
2 wrestlers.
Yeah, well, not even 2 wrestlers. He said he pretty much shut down. He was only writing in his book, and yeah, it was bad.
Jericho called him a hermit. That's basically what he was, like for the last 2 years of year and a half of his life.
Yeah, and it makes sense because at a certain point, he was going through the stages of grief. He thought 6 months he should be able to recover, but he lost. Honestly, the guy who's fucking, you will never, if you go through WCW and WWF, you will never get a more iconic versus than Eddie and Benoit.
No, never.
Iconic matchup ever. These guys would fight for hours.
Literally, there's literally only one that tops it, and it's Angle and Benoit. That's it.
Yeah, and that's because Angle and Benoit were able to do something completely out of the box with all their stuff because they were so similar in style that you were getting something that's unique.
Dude, he's the only wrestler, fake or real, that was able to blow Kurt Angle up in his prime.
Huh?
The only one. The
Uh-huh.
only one. This guy's a 1996 Olympian.
We're as I've said before.
I will say that people are gonna know the legacy of Chris Benoit even if they want to shut it down. So if David goes into AEW, they're gonna know who his father was. That's the shoes he's gonna fill.
And don't
he blew up an Olympian here.
Listen.
So fuck.
Do not turn him heel.
No, definitely not.
Don't do it.
He comes into AEW, he's baby.
Don't you fucking dare let MJF or anybody he's feuding with bring up his dad.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, if it was WWE, we definitely should. Oh,
Not at all.
WWE, they would relentlessly bully him.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I the only one that saw the WrestleMania match between fucking Edge and Orton and saw the fucking
hanging?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Was I the only one that saw that? I'm sorry. Was I high?
Yeah.
How come everybody else?
That tells you all you need to know. And by the way, again, we're not saying Edge and Orton intended for that to happen. We're blaming more Vince on that because
it's a taped show, for God's sakes. Edit it out.
Yeah. So at least, we talked about
segment. If you want to do a segment on your show, do not do specific things that have already been said in a documentary that makes your company look like shit.
Shouldn't have done it, period. Even if the documentary never came out. People were going to know what that symbolized. Especially after the Vice documentary.
Especially the two people.
It was not even a week after, for God's sake.
Especially
not even the week after. They're like,
it was like immediately after that people realized what was going on.
Honestly, it's immediately during. If you're a wrestling fan and you care about like knowing the facts about situations, you fucking know what's going on. Way before anybody else did.
Let's talk about, obviously, David. There's another thing that he said. I agree with what he said in the Chris Van Vliet interview. So I watched that right after the Vice documentary with Benoit and him being on, his son being on. He said he's in talks with Our Lady's Peace to use his father's son. I actually agree with this for the same reasons I said he should keep his last name. Because if there's going to be any healing, I don't think the band should suffer. They didn't commit the fucking crime. David did not commit the crime. And if David is the one that comes out to Our Lady's Peace, I think it would be a heartwarming fucking story if he ever showed up in AEW. I think that would be awesome. I think that'd be really cool.
He gets a good reaction from
that.
Listen, 100%. Dude, if it's in Atlanta especially, do you realize how fucking major that pop is going to be if he ever comes out with that song and he makes his debut? That'd be huge. That'd be one of the highlight moments in AEW history if they were somehow able to pull that off and get,
I hate to say it, but it's literally the most iconic theme.
It's one of the most iconic wrestling themes of all.
Dude, as soon as you hear the you're like, oh fuck, things are gonna happen.
I would love that, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. That song's so good.
He better adopt a crippler. Honestly, he better adopt a crippler.
I wouldn't adopt a crippler.
I would have completely adopted the crippler.
No. He doesn't need to adopt everything Benoit did. I'm
not saying adopt everything. I'm not saying he needs to adopt everything that Benoit did, but adopt the crippler crossface. Bring that shit back to it.
He's definitely good at the crossface. I'm 100%.
That fucking move is it looked like the deadliest thing on the planet when I was a kid. It's the coolest looking fucking submission move ever because of how fast he would apply it.
It was both amazing and horrifying to watch at the same time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He did it so well. But if there's one thing he should also bring back, the rapid fire knife hand chops.
Oh my God, Benoit and those fucking chops, dude. They're so.
No, he's not talking about that one. He's talking about the Kenta Kobashi ones.
Oh, no. You haven't seen the Benoit WCW stuff then.
You know what? All right,
Him versus Flair, he fucking nails him,
He
dude.
lights him up.
For the record, this is another thing I recommend. I don't think he should just adopt of all of Benoit's moveset. Because if he really wants to try to match his father's legacy in the ring, I think what he needs to do is he needs to learn his father's moveset along with Jericho's, Eddie Guerrero's, Kurt Angle. He needs to get training by all these guys. And I think Lance, on top of that, he's already training with Lance. Be a hybrid. Be a hybrid of all styles. Especially in AEW, that's going to serve you very fucking well if you can do that. Especially. So if you're going to do that, I would learn every style you possibly can.
So you're not saying he shouldn't use...
No, yeah, you know what? I think...
German suplex.
He should use the triple German suplex and then right after that, the Three Amigos.
It wasn't just three. Benoit would continue to do it.
Oh yeah, I remember the match you're talking about where he just
kept fucking doing it.
Yeah, no. So John, what about you? What do you think about Our Lady's piece? And then we'll move on to our top 5 wrestlers.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think he should probably just do his own thing, and like you come out to it once, get the pop, but I think he should get, you got to make it your own.
You don't think he should keep it just for the sake of the band, considering they kind of got fucked?
No.
I don't know, man.
It's more of like you're gonna, if you play this song, I'm sorry, but you're just gonna think I was dead. And granted, that's all you can think of when you see him.
That's all you're gonna think of when you see him, though.
Yeah, so that's why
it really wouldn't matter if he came out to it in that respect, because no matter what, people are gonna remember him.
It like basically pays out as a homage to him.
Yeah, it's like you can do certain things to be homages, like but you don't want to come up as a carbon copy of your father. You probably should strike it and make it your own.
That's what I'm saying. If he does different movesets, he wouldn't be a carbon copy, but I do think he should at least have Our Lady's piece as his theme song, at least for the first year. Just so that way, if you at least people have the bad taste out of their mouths. If that makes sense.
Yep.
I say he should use it and make it into his theme. If you're going to do it, turn it into your own piece.
Oh, so like a cover is what you're saying?
No. Make the gimmick work around his theme. 100%. Become the music.
That's very true.
That's what themes are created for, right?
Do yourself a favor really quick, James.
Yeah.
Look up the lyrics.
I've seen the lyrics.
There's no holding me down. I'm not driven by fear. I'm driven by anger. That's exactly who he has to be. The scariest fucking...
No, it's... He said, I'm not driven by fear. I'm just defined because you're under attack. I'm pretty sure the lyrics go.
No.
I don't know, something like that. The lyrics are awesome though. But hey, I think it would be cool for him to come out with his father's theme, at least for that one night in Atlanta if they ever go back. 100%, he needs to. Actually, would it get over more in Atlanta or Canada?
James, actually, I have it right here.
Go.
I have the lyrics.
Well, we don't have. Well, I wouldn't.
Okay, as I just said, there's no holding me back. I'm not driven by fear. I'm driven by anger, and you're under attack. I'm just climbing up slowly, the one and only.
I never heard anger in that one part. It always sounded like defined.
Driven. It says, "I'm not driven by fear. I'm driven by anger."
That's a high-pitched fucking anger, then. Holy shit. A high-pitched lyric. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's move on. Top 5 wrestlers. You know what, John? Since you are a guest, you get to go first. Who are your top 5 wrestlers in no particular order? You don't have to do a particular order. Who are your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
Like pure wrestlers, or just like my personal favorites?
Your personal favorites.
All right. Angle. Foley.
Yep.
Dave. And
Batista.
yeah, it's Batista. I'm a little biased. That's
It's fine.
I really grew to appreciate Brett and Joe.
And Samoa Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a good 5. That's a very good 5. For me, Mike, you have it because I already forget some of them, but I know they were my 5.
I did have it, and then you told me to fucking send it over to you, and then they all got deleted, and I went, awesome.
Right. Okay, so I have to jog my memory. Well, fuck it. I kind of know what they are. Number 5, I believe was Kazuchika Okada.
Yep.
Number 4 was oh man, was it? Fuck. See, this is why I wish I think it was Angle. Number 3. I don't remember 3. I
got it right here. Number 5, Kazuchika Okada.
Yep.
Number 4,
fine.
The Rock.
Yep, The Rock. Yep, The
Number
Rock.
3, Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
Number 2, Daniel Bryan.
Yep, and number 1 is Rey Mysterio. As everybody knows,
I actually switched Daniel Bryan's name to Bryan Danielson when he was the American Dragon, of course.
Well, it doesn't matter. Either any incarnation of Daniel Bryan, really. So yeah, those are my top 5, I think. Yep, sounds about right. So Angle would probably round out the top 10 if I had to do a top 10. But again, I was kind of put on the spot to do this for this podcast. Nikos, what about you? Who's your top 5?
Kenny Omega, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Undertaker, and Benoit.
Really? Benoit's your number 1 still?
Always. I don't care what he did out of the ring. I only care what he did in the ring that made him memorable and hardworking.
Some people can't. Hey, as long as some people can't separate the man from the wrestler, for sure.
Exactly.
If we're talking about wrestler,
he drove me into watching wrestling at a very young age.
I grew to appreciate him more. I grew to appreciate him more during his run in 06. Before the tragedy, I would say, just because of his promo on Eddie, probably. But otherwise, no, he didn't really drew me in. I think Mysterio drew me in, and yeah, that like kind of hooked me as a mega fan. I would say, but to each their own. Mike, you're up. You're last. Who you got? Top.
Okay,
5.
so I'm gonna have my one addition, which is my honorable mention, which is gonna be Tiger Mask.
Fair enough.
I wanted to throw him in there, but I'm like, I couldn't put him as number 5, so I had him or this other individual. Number 5 is Mike Awesome.
Yep.
Number 4 is Roddy Piper. Number 3 is Misawa. Number 2 is
Misawa.
fucking dude, Tiger Driver. Come on, man. Randy Macho Man Savage. And then number 1 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm not shocked that it's number 1.
He's Stone Cold, for fuck's sake. You will never get another wrestler in history who was as fucking brutal when it comes to beating upper management.
As well as relatable.
Quotable. He's one of the most quotable wrestlers, at least in my mind.
Relatable, quotable, likable, fucking
Wife beatable.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm talking about
Bring some hell.
if we're talking about strictly in ring, he was likable, he was relatable, he was fucking.
Oh, in real life, Steve Williams is also fucking super relatable and a good individual. It's just he had his moment of weakness because he was drunk.
Yeah, that's very true.
Things happen.
Didn't he stop drinking like soon after that too? Like that's when he retired.
Dude, when you are, let's put it in perspective. How many beers do you think Stone Cold has gone through in a singular night?
Too many. Although I'd be concerned if he got drunk off light beer.
Not anymore, dude. Fucking, I mean, he has his own brew. That's all he drinks is his own brew.
He does.
I guarantee you that's probably light beer, to be honest. Because he was never. The funny thing is, he wasn't that much of a drinker right up until it was like, I think it was 01, he started drinking heavily. But he was always drinking the light beers. They always tossed him the light beers in the ring. He never actually drank that much.
Dude, are you sure?
Yeah, no, it's straight up light beer.
Are you? We are talking about the same man who drank 115, right?
Yeah, but they still had him drink the light beer shit. Mainly,
I know. I'm just saying that. Fucking.
Hey, I'm also saying that that's legit. He legitimately had him drink light beer. I mean, it makes sense considering you don't actually want your wrestlers fighting.
I know. I'm just saying he would go from 6 to 12 in total amount that he's drunk that has been on TV.
Yeah, it was all light beer. It was all light beer.
Usually it's
on TV
when it was in Japan.
Light beer. I think the only time it might not have been light beer was the Budweiser sponsorship that WWE had.
Gave him.
The XFL was a fucking thing.
Yeah. So usually, I have the numbers here. Stone Cold would usually go from 6 to 12 on normal, but when he had a match in Japan, he went to 115.
Jesus Christ.
150.
Okay, maybe I was. Well, that is in Japan though.
Dude, that means that people were just fucking chucking dollar beers at him all night.
Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean? Wait, so Adam Page is... does that mean Adam Page is more of a drinker than Austin in the ring then? Because I'm pretty sure he just took random beers from people. I don't know if they were plants, but...
No, I just want to... No, in Japan, because, they have the streamers and shit like that, when Stone Cold would come around, they would hand at least certain members of the crowd beer. But on the first night that he came over to Japan, in the new Stone Cold gimmick, they gave him 115 beers in one night.
Jesus Christ.
That means people were going up to concession, buying beer, buying fucking cans of beer and coming back.
I think I know where... I think I know where Hangman Page got his gimmick from now.
Oh, absolutely.
That infamous night in Japan with Stone Cold.
Well, that's the whole thing. Stone Cold was the gimmick of, hey, I'm the average blue collar fucking worker who, has fucking shitty wrestling gear, who doesn't wear any specific type of wrestling gear, just simple wrestling gear, and chugs beer, likes his trucks, and fucking that whole gimmick.
Yeah, very true. Okay.
He's your redneck. He's a bionic redneck.
Before we continue going off topic, because I want to try to get through the rest of these topics, DC Comics. Now we're moving on to a completely different topic other than wrestling. So now we move on to DC Comics. We've been talking about Marvel a lot, the good, bad, and the ugly. Snowflake and Safe Space. But now we move on to DC Comics.
As John goes, excuse me, what the fuck are those? And I go, just watch
John just watched
Just go back in time. We'll rewind the clock.
By the way, this is not episode 6. I realize this is episode 7, like pretty much.
God damn it, James.
It's whatever.
Oh well.
I'll edit it in post. I'll do the typical episode 7 in post. But we got DC Comics. So, John, I know you actually do like comics, and I know you like the movies and stuff like that. What is your favorite DC story?
I would say either they're both Batman stories, but either
Obviously.
I would say either Batman Year One or Hush.
Good choices. Nikos.
I didn't really get into comic books that much, but I guess you would say the first comic book I ever owned was issue 1 of The Walking Dead.
I'm pretty... No, I'm talking about this DC. Was that owned by DC?
No, it's owned by Image.
Yeah, that, I was about to
owned
say,
by
no,
Image,
DC.
No, it's owned by Dark Horse.
Well, here's the thing, Nikos. It doesn't necessarily have to be a comic. It could be a comic or a story that you generally like from DC.
I remember taking a graphic novels course a couple semesters ago, and the first comic we read that I really enjoyed from DC was The Long Halloween.
That's a good one. That's a very, very good story to get through. It's probably one of the best mystery stories that DC's come out with. But yeah, I would recommend getting into it. I think, if I remember correctly, who did The Long Halloween? That would be story artist.
I'll go look it up. I can.
Yeah, look it up, John. John, doing the Googles. For me, so I was never like a comic book guy like Nikos was, and I haven't like looked up a lot.
Joseph Loeb. It's Joseph Loeb and Tom Sale. That's the two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With the colors, Gregory Wright, who's fantastic, and that's why the art looks as good as it does. It's super stylized in a dark deco formatted art style with very high shading. It's fucking fantastic if you want to actually read something intriguing.
Fair enough. For me, my favorite DC stories. Oh, man. So again, I have never really read comics. I've read some comics, but not.
It's fine. Just go over the stuff that you're like, oh, this is I enjoy
my
this.
favorite, and this is going to tell you how much of a nerd I am that it's not comics. It would have to be the Justice League TV series, and specifically the cool one, like where they had the fight scenes and shit, not the cheesy one. And
they're all cheesy.
Yeah, they are. What are you talking about?
but they at least it was not as cheesy in that one. I'm talking specifically the one in the early 2000s where it was like not Super Friends.
Super Friends is great. Fuck off.
It is good. I'm not saying it's not. I prefer.
Friends is good because it's cheesy.
There was a little more serious.
It's like watching the Adam S. Batman show. It's not terrible. It's just.
It's so specific to the time period that it's in. It's fantastic.
So it's either that or it's the Injustice.
Jesus, one stereotype Batman. It's gay. It's not gay, Robin. Those are pants. These are underwear. What the fuck?
Are you sure he would be?
I'm not in dungarees.
Are you sure he would be opposed to that, considering how gay he was in the Adam West series?
I mean, he wasn't gay. I mean, if you're looking at no, listen. The gay Batman.
If there's a meme on the internet, it must be true. Okay.
Listen, good sir. The gay Batman's 1950 Batman because he slept in the same bed as a little boy. That's pretty gay.
That's pretty gay. Pretty fucking gay. By the way, we have nothing against gay. Just point that out. It's still gay.
It's pretty gay. But you know what? It's the 1960s, so it's okay to be gay. It's just you just can't say it in public, but it's absolutely the time of year.
Now it is. But anyway, if it's not the TV series, as I said, it's probably the Injustice story. I really love the Injustice story.
Yeah, but that whole Injustice storyline's been done a shit ton. We're talking about.
I know, but that's my favorite.
That's fine. That's fine.
You know me, I'm not much of a reader, so.
No, that's fine. So we have The Long Halloween. We have Injustice / the cartoons. John, what was your choice?
I said Year One or Hush.
So Year One / Hush. Good choice. Fucking, I think it's Jim Lee who does the art in most of those. Fantastic. I would probably say Flashpoint Batman. The Night of Vengeance is also fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Batman: The Man Who Laughs.
Oh, that's so.
I just got. I actually
To
got
The Man Who Laughs.
Oh, you know what? There is one comic that I really like that I did read, The Killing Joke.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, The Killing Joke is a fucking iconic.
It's the most iconic comic you ever get. If you want a good one of Batman being a drug addict, go to Venom.
Yeah.
Batman Venom is where he starts taking venom for the first time because a little girl dies. And and he goes, "Oh, I don't know what to do about the situation." So he decides to pump himself full of venom, and he becomes an addict, and it's nuts. I would also recommend the Court of Owls, very good as well. Strange Appearance, which is the first appearance of Hugo Strange.
Oh, yeah.
Nightfall, but I would only recommend part of Nightfall because Azrael's kind of wacky as Batman, and I'm not super cool with the situation with it. I think that Azrael sucks.
What about Batman 2099?
There is no such thing as Batman 2099. You mean?
No, I'm sorry. I always get
Batman Beyond.
Spider-Man confused. I'm talking Batman Beyond.
Yeah, you're talking about fucking Terry McGinnis, who's like one of the coolest Batman ever made, because his suit is like bonkersly good. Yeah. Tower of Babel is fantastic. If you've never read Tower of Babel, please read Tower of Babel. It's Batman's Agamemnon contingency, where he decides to create ways to defeat all of the Justice League members.
Right.
Including himself.
Including himself, he's in there as well. The way to beat him is to exploit his secret identity and take out the ones that he loves. And I love the little extra fact that's in there, specifically added in by Kevin Conroy of, "You better choose carefully."
Yes.
Which is my favorite bit to the whole comic. Gotham by Gaslight, fantastic. It's such a good fucking story. And if I remember correctly, it's been a little while. There's Arkham Asylum, A Strange House on a Strange Earth, Serious House on a Serious Earth. And I think the last one that I would honestly recommend is The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
That is like the magnum opus Batman comic of 60-year-old Bruce Wayne running around on Gotham rooftops breaking punks' legs because he's just getting fucking sick of it. It's awesome. It's such a good read. It's probably the best Frank Miller story you're ever going to get, and it's up on the pedestal of being like the greatest Batman comic ever made. Especially when we get the battle between that.
If it's not top 3, it's top 5.
Oh, it's the
one.
It's the one, James. It's the greatest comic ever made because we get Batman versus Superman.
I love Killing Joke, man. I don't know.
Killing Joke's fantastic, but The Dark Knight Returns is Batman going, "Fuck it. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. I need to be Batman again."
So he turns into the Punisher without killing.
Oh, no, he does not kill anybody.
That's my point.
I mean, he beats the shit out of Superman. That's pretty much
He beats the piss out of Superman.
Okay, all right, yeah, fair enough.
No, you're thinking of the Batman Punisher you're talking about is the Flashpoint Paradox Batman, where Flash goes back in time.
Well,
or a.k.a.
he turned
Thomas Wayne Batman.
Yeah, Thomas Wayne's Batman, who's awesome because of the fact he just doesn't give a fuck. He's throwing...
So just so we're clear, we all agree that freaking MK versus DC universe is nowhere on our list.
It's not a bad story. It's just not a DC story.
Yeah.
It's a NetherRealm
it is
what happened story. But you know what? What's the one comic series that we didn't talk about?
What?
Infinite Crisis and Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Ooh, I actually had to do a paper on Infinite Crisis. I think I got like an A on it.
It's super good.
You know about Infinite Crisis, John?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. If you're a comic book / just a general fan of comics, fucking it's the best. It's like one of the greatest stories ever made besides The Death of Superman. The Death of Superman, hands down, is one of my favorite stories of all time because of the fact it gives you that what if of what the fuck's going on and gives you an idea of how strong Doomsday is as a villain. And it leads into an incredible side-scroller beat-em-up game for the SNES as well, which is based off that same thing, which is the Death and Return of Superman. But if you were looking for the greatest Batman story of all time, I hate to say it, but it is probably Arkham Asylum leading into Arkham City.
True.
Oh, sure enough.
Those video games?
Back to back, it is incredible work. It's Rocksteady's magnum opus of how good they can write a story.
I would also say, what was it? Who was the artist who did The Walking Dead that did the new Batman games before they shut down? Those were very good as well. I would say those are pretty damn good. I don't remember I just don't remember the names of it.
Like,
Of the
what do you-
specific title.
because
It was the same.
You're talking about. You're dumb. You're talking about Telltale. They're the developers, not the story writers.
Telltale. Telltale's bad.
They have lots of story problems and gripes, for me personally.
Yeah.
But it's not. It couldn't be any worse than fucking Dark Knight Returns.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What? Excuse me?
Huh?
I didn't like it. I thought it was all over the place. They didn't do.
Are you high?
Yes.
What do you mean it's all over the place? It's a good narrative that goes from point A to point B, like relatively simply. There's no bullshit in the middle. It's during the Cold War. It's during the most important time period in American history.
I'm talking. No. Oh, you think I'm talking about the comic? I'm talking about the movie.
The movie is also
The
good.
movie's a different thing, James.
I know, but I don't know. It's just very.
Dude, Dark Knight Returns is also, as a movie, is very good as well. It gets everything that's in the comic in there. Every single bit that needed to be in there.
I don't know. I didn't see it like that. But
You didn't watch it. That's because you're lying now.
I
can
did.
tell you.
Yeah.
I did watch it. I straight up watched it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who's the first villain Batman fights in that movie? Then
I don't remember his name.
you don't remember Two-Face.
No, he fought Two-Face at the end of The Dark Knight.
You're an idiot.
James, are you talking
You're
about
an
the
idiot.
Christian Bale Dark Knight?
Yes, yeah.
That's the Dark Knight Rises, dumbass.
No, Dark Knight Rises when he fights Tom Hardy as Bane.
Oh, did I say Returns like an idiot?
Dude, it's Returns.
Rises. I meant Rises. I meant Rises.
You are something. You know.
I misspoke. My apologies.
Oh, wow.
No, I meant. Okay, yeah, I like Telltale's Batman better than The Dark Knight Rises. Sorry.
I mean, that movie isn't fantastic,
Telltale's-
but it's narratively, like, it's a good end to that trilogy. It's not the best, but it's a good end.
I am sorry. Okay.
Anyway, I got one last one.
Before we run out of time for...
I got one last one, good sir. And I want to get your opinion on it. A Death in the Family.
Oh, that's great. That's actually really good.
Damn.
You showed me that comic when you moved back.
That's the one where Joker kills the second Robin.
Yeah.
Kills Jason Todd. Yeah, he fucking murders Jason. It leads into Under the Red Hood.
Joker. Hey, if Joker was a rapper, he'd be like, "Ask Robin if I drop bars."
Ask Robin if I grabbed him, tortured him for a while, and beat the shit out of a 13-year-old kid with a crowbar.
So let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next topic before we run out of time. John, this is all you, my dude, because I know you've probably been watching it in the background. The NFL draft. And how?
I do have it up here. Actually, it's on my phone.
Go for it.
Well, like in terms of what has actually happened.
What has happened? I'll go over briefly how they've gone about it. So, shockingly, they were able to, I think, without relative problems, were able to have all the players and coaches on one group call for the draft this year.
Yeah,
which is fucking nuts. Holy shit! NFL doing bits. Even in this.
The production value is actually not terrible. I was expecting this thing to be an absolute freaking disaster, but the presentation is pretty nice.
Oh, there you go. So who got drafted that's like the important to you?
I'd say, well, no one's traded. No one traded in or out of the top 10.
No.
So I'll be right back. That is about
yeah, go for it.
Obviously, Joe Burrow obviously went number 1 overall to Cincinnati. He's fucked. I'll put it honest here. They're a poorly run organization. They don't know what the hell. They don't know their ass from their elbow. If you give them a map.
Very true.
Yeah,
Cincinnati's never been a football town.
Well, the main problem is they didn't.
And, Fontez Perfect kind of ruined their image as well.
Oh, I know. I think what ruins their image is the fact that their owner is a cheap piece of crap.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, he's shit.
Oh no. The best part is like he's like a multi-billionaire, and he still shops at thrift stores for his clothing. I'm not making this up. This actually happened all the time.
Wild.
He's a notorious cheap ass.
Well, continue.
Tua Tagovailoa is now in Miami, bad hips and all, and there's not really much else to really report. I just thought that the two quarterbacks that people were looking to, Joe Burrow and Tua, are going to Cincinnati, which everyone had, and Tua's going to Miami. So that's
Should since you didn't really have much on the NFL draft, should we talk about the elephant in the room that Brady and Gronk are going to Tampa Bay?
I'm not surprised.
Neither am I.
I was surprised at the Gronk one. Like I was like they how quickly that story came out, like within like a half hour.
Is that why Chris? By the way, I know I'm gonna put him on blast, but is that why Chris said
F him?
Gronk?
Yeah, that is exactly like as soon as
it's not that deep.
it's not that hard to figure out. He was just done with Bill. Like that's really the whole point, is that he was just done with dealing with Bill's, training regimen and his attitude, which is true. Bill's an asshole. Never hides it.
All right, this is very true. Although him being an asshole has gotten us many championships, so I don't know. Again, we'll see if it's different when they go to Tampa Bay, but I don't know. To me, I don't know, because as bad as it is for a while with Brady there, the Patriots were like the most efficient team in the NFL.
Oh no,
like it wasn't even close. The only thing that was probably off, and this was most years, was the Patriots defense. That was always a fucking problem for many years.
Tom, just I think it was time. It was time for a break, and Bill didn't want to pay him. Yeah. So Brady took his ball and he went down to a guy whose main motto is "Win and lose, we booze." And we'll see how well.
Do you think if Antonio Brown never got that fucking shit happened to him, do you think the Patriots would have won the Super Bowl this year with Brady at the helm?
No.
Yeah.
I think the offensive line was too out of shambles, and he didn't trust any other receiver.
Yeah. He only he said as a player he trusted Brown. Like he was on record saying that it was the best best choice they could have gotten, and then
Brown. Well, you get what you signed up for with Antonio Brown. He was a accident waiting to happen. So you shouldn't be shocked. You shouldn't be shocked when that comes up. Soon, it's like if it wasn't the allegations, he would have blown up his social media, or he would have gotten in a fight with Bill, or gotten in a fight with Robert. It would have been poorly no matter what.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, there you go. Well, that was the NFL news. Mike, I know you have a fucking yellow cup on your head. Good job.
Yeah,
but
it's not a cup. It's a child's bucket.
Well, there you go. But right now we're gonna take a quick commercial break, obviously. And when we come back, we're going to be doing a plug after our Immortal plug, and we're gonna talk about Play Emulator again. We'll also be talking about an Assassin's Creed idea Mike came up with. Favorite weapons from fiction ever. The best saga of all best saga of all time, I assume is what Mike means by that. Top 5 underrated games, and a story involving IKEA. Yeah, that's what we're ending it with. We'll be right back. Don't go.
No, you have to put the shelf in the couscous. What the fuck?
A table from hell with the Psycho Asylum. An Iron Man match of factorial proportions. Man
In this fight, I will melt you down to slag.
versus machine.
I calculate a 0.85% chance that you will win in your current condition.
Full Metal Mayhem. Colleen Horizon.
When you throw me into the wolves, I will return leading the pack.
Vera McGarden.
And I'll do anything to be the warrior on top.
For the Athena title. best friends turned bitter rivals. Johnny Star.
Don't get in the way of the star or you'll get burned.
James, the Archangel.
I'm the real star of this brand.
For the international title. The Outsider, Mark Young. The Executioner, Michael X. For the WYW World Heavyweight title. 2 out of 3 fall.
Inside.
In a hell in a cell. WYW Immortal. Now available on YouTube.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the Indy Force. We are now going to move on to PlayEmulator.com. Wait, where did Nikos go?
He has become one with the shadows of night. He has become the ninja in the bush, the chicken underneath the desk. Things that are not there.
What? The chicken underneath the... What?
Did
What?
it confuse you?
Yes. That's the point.
Ninja.
Ah. Okay, fair enough. All right, let's talk about so Play Emulator. We're gonna talk about Play Emulator, and
we're gonna make it nice and quick because if people have already seen the previous podcast, we're just plugging it in so that way it's in there. It's a website launcher that allows you to play pretty much any game from the NES all the way up to the PSX. That includes arcade games, Virtual Boy, Atari 2600, a whole bunch of shit. You can play whatever you want. It's a completely free website. There is a section down at the bottom that you can ask the developers of the website questions. Things that you find intriguing or important, or if you're having launching problems, you can contact them and they'll find a way to fix it. But we're ranging from A to Z. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit on this website. If you want to check it out, go right ahead. There's so many games that you won't get bored. To give an example, all the way from the start of this week to about the end of this week, I've already beaten Super Mario RPG, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and WWF WrestleMania, the arcade.
for me, I've gone through.
Fuck heavyweight title mode because that's horse shit. Dude, you have to fight 10 people in a row.
That's bad. No,
it's a fucking 3-on-1.
So, you know what that reminds me of? Raw 2, when we went through that. Funny story, and John, you'll laugh at this. We were playing Raw 2 when Mike moved back to Weymouth, and for whatever reason, he was the WWE champion, I was the World Heavyweight champion. We had feuds with... I had a feud with Tori Relson, he had a feud with Stacy Keibler, and we just simulated the shit. We didn't actually play the matches, and they somehow beat us and won the titles.
It wasn't really that funny.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Hilarious at the time, but when you're trying to describe it, it's not that funny.
You would have had to be there.
Exactly, and that's why it's not a good joke.
They insulted us in the back for no reason.
So to give an example, John, I know you're a football fan. Yes, NFL Blitz is playable on here. And you absolutely can play Tecmo Bowl if you're like, fuck it, I want to play something classic.
I believe they also have Madden games, but it depends on how good your RAM card is.
No, they have Madden.
I'm Bo Jackson.
They do have fucking Madden, but it's all like the GBA and like all the shitty stuff, except for I think they have NFL 99, which I think is like the last. They have all the way up to 2001. That's the last good one, and they have NFL Blitz as well because fucking Blitz is.
Well, no, I don't agree with that. I think 2003 was like the last good one.
Yeah, but that's on the Xbox. We're talking about the last good game that doesn't fucking take out features.
Right.
2001's the last game that doesn't like take out features.
For me, I've gotten through the first 2 worlds of Super Mario World. I've been sucking at Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man.
Because you're terrible at video games.
Yeah, and I've been playing Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, but instead of actually Sonic, here's another thing. They actually do fan-made games as well.
Fan-made hacks of...
Fan-made hacks of games, yeah. And or fan-made emulators of the engine, and... I've been playing the Sonic the Hedgehog game with called Shadow in Sonic, so it's Shadow in the game of Sonic the Hedgehog.
And it somehow plays better.
It's better played than Sonic the original.
Yep. So if you're interested, we'll leave a link down in the description below somewhere, or we might just put an annotation at the top of the screen somewhere. I don't know, somewhere above either my head or James' head or somebody's head. up there on the screen, so that way you're able to take a look at it and go through. If you make a library, send us a library in the description below. I'm interested in to see what people are playing on the website. Yes. And I know somebody's gonna sit there and be like, "Huh, Mike's really interested about this website." Yeah, because I don't want to fucking leave my house and spend money. Listen, if I had the option to play shit for free and sit at home, fuck yeah, that's the option I want to pick.
100%. Especially in these times right now.
Yeah, especially with all the bullshit going on in the world. So yes, you absolutely can play WWF WrestleFest. You can play the Simpsons game. You absolutely can play, and it does work. The X-Men game. You can fucking go all the way through Muscle Bomber Duo, which is the tag team version of Saturday Night Slam Masters, the arcade original port. Yeah. Yes, you can get through Knuckle Bash. You can get through all this shit. They all work. It's shocking that they all work, but they do fucking work.
There he is. Hey, Nikos, you came back just in enough time. We said you were a ninja just to cover you.
What?
We had to start the show so that way we had enough time. But you luckily just got back with the first topic after break.
Excellent.
What games have you been playing on Play Emulator?
Doom, Paper Mario, and Mario 64.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a classic.
DK64, which I regretted it because there was nothing
listen,
about the game.
Listen, you can at least say that you played DK and Mario 64.
Very true.
Because remember, he made it the bunch, but he's always there. He's finally back to kick some tail.
True, but you ever played Beaver Bother? I did, and I wanted to commit suicide.
It's okay. Did you play Wheelchair Mario yet?
I'll get there.
I have
not. Aside from that,
as James goes, I'm sorry, what? There's what on here?
Continue, John. You were about to say something.
I wasn't.
No, that was Nikos.
Oh. In fairness, sometimes they kind of sound the same.
No, they don't.
Why do you keep cutting him off like an asshole? Nikos, talk. Go.
And I was playing a little bit of Mortal Kombat 1. And I'm learning how to sync my controller with the website. Basically, I just needed to go on the customization on the second controller settings. And I had to input the buttons into it.
I think you just had to press a button and then it activates. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah, so there you go.
It works. And
but the problem is, I have to make sure that the Play Emulator site is the only thing that's open. Otherwise, if I have other tabs open, it might freeze or I might hear some static in the background.
Yeah, that's to be expected though, especially with a laptop.
Yeah.
But yeah, John, if you're curious about this site, I did send it to you via Messenger so you could check it out. So if you're bored,
but I have a Switch, and it's like, yeah, but can your Switch play fucking, I don't know, Cadillacs and dinosaurs?
That's a legit game, by the way.
I just said that I have the SNES package on the Switch.
Oh, I know, but I mean, as I said, this literally has everything.
A bunch of retro games.
Everything that you would want to play. If you're sitting there going, you know what I feel like playing today? I feel like playing the original Metal Gear Solid on the MSX, but not have to fucking go and try to find an MSX fucking ROM to actually make it work. Screw that. Just do it on the web.
They also have, John, just for your sake, WWF No Mercy as well.
And WrestleMania 2000 Virtual Pro Wrestling is on here, plus the sequel. Would recommend going on GameFAQs and getting the English translations, because it was kind of a pain in the ass for me to navigate the menus because there's no English variety for the game till I can find a better port. But it's good. It all functions, it all works. It's not bad. Plus, I get to play as Misawa, so that's all I give a shit about. In any case, let's get on to the next bit.
So we got Square Enix. So the story here is that Square Enix is basically taking down content creators for basically spoiling the ending, essentially, of the game. And
Which I agree with. I think that they have the absolute right to do that for the fact that the game is probably one of the biggest things to come out for the PlayStation 4 / in console history right now. And spoiling the ending is an asshole and dickhead move. I don't care if you're doing a Let's Play of the game. You just say, I have to stop at the ending because I want you guys at home to go play it, because that's literally what kills games, is the fact that nobody goes out there to buy these games. They go and watch Let's Plays.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's I'm just going to read what it says though, so that way we get the full story from the other side.
Yep.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, all ending movie cutscenes have been like, it basically has been taken down, and I'll read Riff Gamer explains
minus 3 points for the name, by the way.
Yeah. Says, could you Square Enix explain to me why did I get a strike on my video today, even though the game was already released a week ago?
That's a different story.
We'll get into why it's kind of a bit iffy if you do it. And then they said, it seems like they only strike the ending because there were some complaints about it. Agreed, many fans don't like the ending. Is that the reason why Square Enix strikes creators like us? It's not fair. They could just have sent an email to remove the video and problem solved. I'm sending him a counter notification, though. To which I believe it said, another guy named Gamer Zombie said, the fan base is not happy with the
minus 3 points for your name, too.
Is not happy with the ending of FF7 Remake. I don't see how that's our fault. Also got a strike for the ending on my channel. What about the rest of the channels? Only some being sued. And that's according to Gamer Zombie.
Well, here's the whole thing with that. The ending of FF7 Remake isn't the fucking ending of FF7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these people that are bitching and complaining, like, oh, they took down my ending, even though I was going to ruin the game for people when it just came out like a week ago.
Yeah. Do you know what? Basically, do you know what the fuck's going on right now? Is their point.
Yeah.
So then Square Enix, if they send a counter notification, they have pretty much threatened to sue them.
And they have the right to.
This is the legal document. It says, this is legal and intellectual property division of Square Enix Co. Ltd. The content uploaded by you infringes on Square Enix Co. Ltd's copyright in Final Fantasy VII Remake. The unauthorized content does not constitute a fair use of that intellectual property, even if the user purchased the game at retail. In addition, the uploaded content specifically violates the marital usage license because it includes content that players were prohibited from natively capturing on the PS4. See Section 1 and the final 2 paragraphs of the material usage license. I believe that's in the game.
Yes. I did get the chance to look up all that information as well, just to make sure that everything's backed up. But they legally have the right to go, yeah, we're glad that you enjoyed the game and you enjoyed it as much as you did. But if you feel the need to spoil the ending for the people that haven't purchased the game or have issues with the ending right now and want to bitch and moan about it, and it's okay to say, I didn't really enjoy the end of the game. It's fine. To make an entire video critiquing
it's like they tried to say that that's the reason when it's not the reason. They just don't want the ending to be spoiled for people.
No, it's the major reason. It's understandable because the ending of a game, it's not the ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first disc out of 4.
Anyway, let me continue. Therefore, you should retract your counter notice. If you are unwilling to do this thing, Square Enix must reserve all rights, including the right to pursue legal action against you. Best, Square Enix Co. Ltd. So that's sent to anybody that's been doing the end.
So Maximilian, dude, be careful.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Max is going to do it because he's worked with Square in the past. He's smart enough to go, Yeah, they probably already told him, Max, we know that you're doing a playthrough of the game. Just don't show the ending.
Scirocco Gaming, again, minus 3 points.
Oh, of course Scirocco would get this. I mean, that's been some heat before.
Creators are getting videos taken down for posting FF7 Remake by Square Enix's official email at yt.dispute at squareenix.com. Countering the takedown results in them threatening to sue the creator. Uploading this game is a huge risk to every creator that does full Let's Plays. Oh, fuck.
Now, the whole thing is, all they're saying, though, is the ending. They're not saying you can't post videos of the whole game. Just don't post the ending.
Got confirmation that Square Enix is threatening to sue people that upload the ending of FF7 Remake. This is unforgivable, he says. We bought the game and we're not allowed to finish Let's Play streams or we'll get sued. I'm done covering Square Enix games. So basically he's pissed off because he can't make money off the ending by spoiling it for everybody that can't buy the game right now.
Well, that's on you. That's on the viewer. If you don't have money to buy the game and you don't want to say your ending spoiled, don't watch it.
Yes. Now, here's the thing I want to point out. Here's the thing I want to point out with this. I think that at some point you should be able to play the ending and record it. Typically, in typical times, the proper wait time to actually reveal the ending is like a month. In this case, I would say 3 months, considering, the fucking pandemic. And then you can upload the ending.
It's also the fact that
that's something I think Square Enix should allow creators to do. Have them wait 3 months, and then when enough people have bought the game to see the ending or one of the endings of the multiple discs, they can then spoil the ending after 3 months have passed. And at that point, then that's on the viewer. But to go and say after a week, it hasn't even been a week since this game's been out, to say, I'm done covering Square Enix games because I can't spoil the ending. No, it's not about that. It's not about full Let's Play channels being at risk. It's not. It's just that they don't want the ending spoiled for people that haven't purchased the game. There's a major reason why gaming companies are doing this, because they at least want people to buy the product in the first month, or in this case, the first 3 months, so they can experience it for themselves. You spoil it, you're going to ruin it for them, and then they're not going to want to purchase the fucking game. And this is a problem that Undertale fucking faced for the longest time. That's probably one of the main reasons they went out of fucking business. Is because people kept spoiling the endings.
What do you mean? Undertale just created Deltarune. That was like the second game.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about, wasn't Undertale that made, not Undertale. Tall Tale. See,
Telltale went out of business because they had too many IPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point is, spoiling the endings of their games, I'm sure it didn't help. Because I actually wanted to play it, but then I saw other people play it. And then I'm like, I don't need to play it now. So that's my point. And to your point, before we went on the air, this is exactly what happened with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So what would you rather? Not be able to play the ending of the game and see the ending of the game on a Let's Play, and waiting 3 months and then being able to see it on
You know what? I'm gonna make a guess. I'm gonna make a wild fucking guess what the ending is. I'm gonna make a wild guess.
I wouldn't even guess.
I'm just gonna make a wild guess. I'm gonna say, at the end of the game, they all stand on the end of the highway looking forward, trying to figure out the future, and they hear whispers from the Whisper Harbinger.
I don't know, probably. But again, I don't know, and I don't need to know.
That's my guess.
If I buy the game, if I even see the game, I probably can't buy it because I don't have PlayStation. But if I wanted to buy the game, I will buy the game and play it for myself. That's it. And you know what? It kind of has ruined games when you can just watch somebody play it. It doesn't have the same effect.
Listen, I'll say this: there are a lot of games out there that I'm like, I won't be able to play it first day. I want to know what story mode is.
Right.
The chance to buy and play Mortal Kombat 11 first day when it came out, but I was able to get it later.
Right.
What I wanted to see, I wanted to know what the story mode was. I wanted to know what gameplay was going to be like. And then I played it and my own opinion on it.
That's exactly it. Right. Now here's the thing. I want to point this out.
I'm okay doing that, and you know what I did? I didn't watch the ending. I got up to a certain point where I'm like, okay, they all get on the boat. That's where I'm going to stop. Oh, we're getting close to the ending section of the game. I'm going to stop. That's because I want to be able to see the ending from my own eyes. I've done it with almost every.
That's what I've been doing. So yeah, to a degree, that's somewhat on the viewer. I don't think that you should get. I think this.
If you're a content creator, you should be promoting the game that you are playing. You should be telling people that the game that you are playing that they should go out and buy.
You're right.
And say it should be your duty as a content creator. It's one thing if it's an independent game. It's one thing if it's a piece of shit that nobody's going to play again. But it's another thing when it's the most asked for game in history that's been in 5 years of development that we know of.
Yeah.
5 years between what we saw and when it finally came out, which was the actual.
John, you have a different take on this from the sound of it. Do you think it's just on the viewer watching at this point?
I think if it's realistically on the viewers, I don't think that content creators should just, play up to that certain point, stop, and then they have to wait 3 months to really to release the ending.
True. However,
they should
continue.
Which is the main reason why I'm not really a big fan of day one release content, because how do you know you're gonna like the game if you're gonna play halfway through? So I think personally it's on the viewer, because if say I'm just gonna equate this to a movie. Remember when what was it? Endgame came out?
Yeah.
That came out. So what if Disney went and flagged every single one of the spoiler talks, and that content creators did?
Oh, they have the right to do that completely. That's a multi-million dollar property.
Where John's actually coming from here.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to say is those, and that's the thing that I can't stand is the people that feel the need to spoil.
No. They specifically put spoilers ahead. If you don't want to be spoiled,
have the right then they don't have to take it down. That's completely. They've already put the warning in for the fan base. They should have every right to put the ending up at that point. If they've already said to the audience, skip to this time code when we get to the credits or something like that, I'm fine with it. I don't care. But if you were talking about something that just came out 2 days ago, and it's the biggest thing to come out in that.
2 days ago, or was it a week ago?
I'm just giving an example with Endgame stuff, because the spoiler shit was on the second day that fucking movie was out.
Yeah.
It was on the second day. I learned the entire plot of that movie, and I didn't even go to the theater and see it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, people want to spoil shit because of the fact that it gives you views, and that's fucked. You shouldn't be able to do that. If you are a content creator on YouTube, you should have a responsibility towards the people that made the game and developed the game and spent 80 hours a week trying to get that thing polished and done for months on end. Give them at least enough respect to go, hey, I understand we're getting really far into the game. I'm going to put a tweet out. I'm going to put some information out saying, listen, we're getting close to the end of the game. If you do not wish to witness the end of the game, don't watch the upcoming video.
And even if you do, I highly suggest you play the ending for yourself, because
you should be able to play the game and get your own opinion anyway.
Right.
I hate the type of person that goes out there, summarizes their own opinion based upon some other content creator. Create your own. You're a human being, not a robot. Have your own opinion.
So here's the last question. I'll end with this, and then we can move on to the next topic. Do you think that it is fair in the sense that if they wait 3 months, then they can release the ending? Because I'd rather that than what happened with Brawl, where they spoiled it, and then Nintendo got so pissed that they kept flagging, content for ages.
Dude, that game was spoiled
they just said, all right, if you're going to spoil our game, fuck you. You can't use our content. And literally was going on for years until, I think, what was it, Mario Maker? And then they finally stopped doing it. But it took a long time for them. I think
Mario Maker 2 specifically, but they didn't.
No, Mario Maker survived it.
I remember that happening a lot with base Mario Maker. But anyway.
No, maybe Markiplier worked out a deal with them then. Because I know he didn't get.
No, it's just asking. It's just having the responsibility as a content creator on YouTube to fucking ask if it's okay.
Or just put like a spoiler warning before you
exactly.
It.
But it's still the fact of you need to have the responsibility of a content creator to think, should I put this out there? Will the company that made it be pissed off at me? Will the fan base get upset for the fact that I've released this early?
Yeah, just don't. And moral of the story here: don't be selfish and just be decent. Just be decent about it. There was no reason why there had to be this, whole thing of I'm done covering the games because they won't let me spoil the ending. Just fucking ask if you can.
I'm not gonna play the next expansion of Final Fantasy VII when it comes out because they will flag my video and made me very upset. Listen, I love Square Enix. I'm a big Square Enix fan. The first game I played, and I know a lot of people are gonna look at me and go, "You didn't play a Final Fantasy as your first?" No, my first Square Enix game, it was the fucking Bouncer, which sucks. That game is terrible, but I enjoyed it because I was a dumb kid and I love side-scroller beat-em-ups. When I got older, I played more shit. But it is still the fact that I love Square for the fact that they, no matter what type of game it is, you know that the gameplay will be something different from what you're used to. Extent. And the games at this point, I'm going to say from 15 up to 7, which I can't believe I have to go backwards in time for that shit. 15 after FF7 Remake is going to be polish. They are the best at making a game that is polished that can go out. The only game that doesn't, and the one that sucks, is the one that has lightning in it, which is 13. 13 can suck. 13 can fucking bite it because that character's terrible. But anyway, let's go by that. Let's push that topic out of the way and let's get to the next fun one.
Assassin's Creed, and your idea for the next Assassin's Creed game, Mike.
So, my idea has been, and I worked with this on Nikos for a little bit. Now, I think that we came to something that's at least somewhat of a compelling. I wouldn't say compelling, but something that's interesting enough that you would want to play.
Right. Before we get to that, John, have you played any of the Assassin's Creed games?
A little.
Fair enough. Okay, so you're somewhat familiar, like I am.
I've played a game, so like I'm.
Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah.
So the first.
Yeah. Honestly, that's all you really have to play. So my idea was Assassin's Creed Sengoku. Assassin's Creed Sengoku, which would be during the Japanese feudal Japan era, and if I remember correctly, the time period is between 1568 into 1600, which is the beginning of the Edo era.
Correct.
Our main character, Kiba, his father is killed by men of Oda Nobunaga because Nobunaga was trying to spread Christianity across Japan, and Kiba's father was completely against it, was killed. He decides to seek revenge, join the Kage Iki, which is led by Kenio, is trained by fucking I think it's Nagato and Guillemon, who are two of the most famous ninjas during that time period, and then attempts to make at least tries to kill Nobunaga several times over the course of the story. However, is stopped every single time that he gets close, and eventually he comes up with the brilliant plan of making Nobunaga kill himself by turning one of the members of Nobunaga's clan against him. And our main character will eventually, die. At the correct time period where he should. I want to make this as historically accurate as you can for an Assassin's Creed game.
Because if nothing else, Assassin's Creed's very, very good at doing that.
Yes.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they did. I thought they did all right with the one where they did the Revolutionary War. Even though it's weird that an assassin's in that.
They've done the Revolutionary War. They've covered the Renaissance era, the 100 Years War. They've covered fucking Pirates in the Caribbean because, of course,
Ancient
they had to.
Egypt, ancient Greece.
They've covered China. They've covered bits and pieces of everything. But my major thing is I want a game where I finally have the choice of picking an arsenal. Now, I know somebody's going to sit there and go, well, you already did that. There's a whole Assassin's Creed game based on the French Revolution. Yeah, and that game is not great. It kind of sucks. It's definitely give me money bait.
Yeah.
And I hate that, and that shit's annoying. And I had to I did about almost 2.5 days of looking through Japanese history to make sure that everything leads to the correct locations that they need to be.
Right.
And your character using black eggs, caltrops, fucking smoke bombs, firecrackers, tools. Actually using tools in his arsenal to evade.
Batman. So like Batman in a sense.
You get Batman. Okay, if somebody fucking says Ninja Batman, I'm gonna get really mad.
He is Batman. I'm sorry. I mean, it's a good comparison. You can't deny it.
No, except the difference is that you kill. Batman has the whole.
Right. That's the only difference. I'm just pointing it out as far as the tools aspect of it.
Well, that's the whole thing. You should have tools to get around the city, to get around all of these feudal Japan locations, to climb castle walls. Because that still exists. Tokyo, Japan is not the big thing yet. Edo is not the big location yet. Okinawa is still, small huts and shit like that. We're talking about using weapons like the katana, the ninjaku, the wakizashi, the tanto, the kama. Yeah, the odachi, the naginata, the yara, and fucking the yumi. For God's sakes, one of the greatest bows ever made. Gaining legendary weapons like Kasanagi, which is the sword of Orochimaru. Kembukuari, which is one of the 3 spears of made by Masazana. Like, we're talking about some serious fucking weapons here. We're talking about the staff of Son Goku. Or in Chinese mythology would be Sun Wukong. A weapon that can extend in combat and allow you to use it at close to long range distance.
Right. So basically, what you did with this is you tried to make an Assassin's Creed game that appeals to the base audience that is a fan of Assassin's Creed, but also reach to a new audience that is a fan of anime and specifically. Maybe Japanese.
No. Dude, these are all based off of actual Japanese gods. Orochimaru is a real Japanese god.
Yeah.
Son Goku is a real Japanese god.
I'm not denying that, but you can't deny that if you have those kind of weapons that nerds of anime that also know that people use those weapons, like Nikos mentioned the kunai, will probably be attracted to that game just for that. I'm not saying that people of national historians Japan wouldn't be interested in it. Of course they would be. I'm just pointing it out there that it
absolutely. Because I don't think that there's enough coverage when it comes to. Dude, we're talking about all the way up to the 1800s. They barely use guns.
Right.
They were like a rarity in Japan. We're talking about castle sieges where guys in full suits of armor are still running up walls and doing what they have to do. That's my whole thing. I'm talking about these are weapons that you will be able to obtain later on that are high weapons that will be able to give you more shit. Like Amaterasu's Yumi, which is her bow. The Bow of Sunlight, which is one of the most powerful fucking bows you're going to be able to get in the game, where you're melting opponents, almost literally.
Right.
The armor of Raiden, the boots of Sanaowo. We're talking about, I think it's Inari's cloak, which is the ability to shapeshift. And for Nikos, for you, we're talking about the Cursed Mask as well.
Yeah, so I actually want to talk a little bit about that. One of my cinema horror genre class, we were supposed to watch a movie called Onibaba, which is basically a movie about villagers during the time period where Mike described for the game, where villagers kill samurai, steal their armor and weapons, and trade them for goods. One day, one of the villagers encounters a samurai who wears a mask. She asks him why he wears the mask. He says, "I wear it to protect my beauty." The villager leads the samurai to his death, and she tries to pull off the mask from him, but she has difficulty pulling it off. When she does, she sees that the beautiful face of the samurai is all mutilated, disfigured, scarred, burned, and later in the movie, the woman uses the mask to scare her daughter-in-law and forbidding her to see her husband's best friend,
Right.
for sexual relationship. Afterwards, when she fails, the daughter-in-law encounters the mother, who can't seem to get the mask off. And when she does, she breaks the mask, and what happens to the samurai's face is the same thing for the mother's face. So
Right.
we came up with the idea is, what if we use that mask from the movie, and it gives our main character a special ability whenever he wears the mask? And that ability is, Mike?
Well, it's a basic stat effect, which will give the base player about a 60% chance in combat to have your enemies run in horror, which is terror. So let's say you're going up against a crowd of 10 guys. 6 of them will run, making it down to 4 because of the fact of what you are wearing on your face. It's about making gameplay fun and giving somebody something fun to use. You don't want to do the... How do I say this? You definitely do not want to be a game company or any individual out there. Electronic Arts that gives somebody some boring shit. Because, I mean, let's be honest, nobody wants to sit there and listen to, the same nonsense from companies out there. I don't know some off the top of my head. Electronic Arts that really has no idea how to entertain the masses at this point.
Right.
And including... sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nikos.
So, we actually came to the agreement that the more the main character wears the mask, the more slowly his face will be disfigured, the more he wears that mask.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And with that idea, I went into the whole conceptual design of, dude, what if fucking masks give you extra abilities? What if you put on the mask of an Oni and you're able to be cloaked in fog outside of locations? If you decide to put on a kitsune mask, you're able to blend into the public and it's considered like a non-threat. Using items. I just want to have an Assassin's Creed game where it feels like I have an arsenal and I can walk through human beings, including probably the scariest weapon in the entire game, Masamune.
Fair enough.
A weapon that is considered by many in Japanese mythology and outside of Japanese mythology as the evil blade of bloodlust. A weapon that consumes the blood of victims and becomes stronger over time. That is the type of shit I want to see. I want to see a Japanese game, or at least a Japanese-inspired game that allows me to go into Japan and experience the world for myself.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I want to be able to go through Japanese history and not see one side of things. I want to be able to see how different things are. Because that's the problem with the American Revolution Assassin's Creed game. It's so anti-British that it's not even funny.
Yeah.
I get you.
It's like there's 2 sides to the war, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they were very pro-American.
Which is fine, if that's the audience that you're trying to get to.
Sorry.
Doing historical accuracy, be historically Nikos. You were in a classic film class, right?
Yes.
Did you ever watch Tora?
No.
I would recommend it. It's an incredible...
I actually watched parts of it in my history class back in high school.
It's a very good movie when you get through it. I mean, a lot of people will go, it's slow pacing, it's character development. Yeah, that's kind of how real life happens when you think about it.
This is very true.
Not everything is guns, bombs, and explosions every 10 seconds.
I mean, it was 100 times a lot better than Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor. Let's be clear on that.
Because it wasn't sitting there going, "Oh well, here's your sad love story, and here's Pearl Harbor. It's the backdrop to the whole thing, and then there's."
That pissed me off when he made it the fucking backdrop. Are you kidding
It
me?
really is the backdrop of the whole movie. It's just it just happens, and you're like, "Oh, the
love story in that movie was more important.
The Boy Scouts of the Boy Scouts of America are the first ones to see the plane. That's not even true. The first person to see the Japanese invade Pearl Harbor was a woman pilot. A female pilot was the first one to see the Japanese invade Pearl Harbor.
Now, let's we're gonna do a voting system right now. So Mike's idea, because we gotta try to wrap this up as quick as possible so we can get to the rest of the topics. So on a scale from 1 to 10, basically, is what we're gonna go by this. Jean, we're gonna start with you since you're kind of a casual Assassin's Creed player. What do you think of Mike's idea as far as an Assassin's Creed game?
Hey, you can say it sucks. I don't care.
No, I like it. I mean, I'll probably buy it, try to give it a nice playthrough.
There you go. What would you rate it out of 10 as far as the idea wise?
Solid 7.
Fair enough. I liked it a lot, and I'll give it like a solid 9. I really enjoyed it, and I don't play Assassin's Creed that much, so I thought Mike, you went very in depth with that and what needed to be done. So there was a lot of thought obviously put into it. Nikos, I'm saving you for last because you kind of helped him with the last pieces of the puzzle. What would you rate the idea from 1 to 10?
In all honesty, I mean, I think it's a really good idea. I feel like with this type of aesthetic into the game of learning Japanese mythology, it's a giant leap from what we got from Origins and Odyssey. And after having played Odyssey, I wasn't like too into it, only because of the fact that it felt more of just an RPG set in Greece and not an Assassin's Creed game. But
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I actually played
it. That's why I didn't want to buy it, because I'm sitting there going, what part of history am I supposed to be in?
Right.
What's the important battle that's going on as the backdrop to all the assassinations? Oh, none?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It tells you, it's during the start of the Peloponnesian War, but it has flashbacks of the Battle of Thermopylae, and you're just kind of mixed here.
Then do the Battle of Thermopylae. Fucking assassinate Xerxes' men.
Right.
Die with the 300 and fucking defending the gate.
That would have been cool.
Oh no, they did that in cutscenes.
Yeah.
Oh, of course they did that in cutscenes, because why do massive battles?
So just to wrap this up, obviously, Nikos, what would you rate it out of 1 to 10 so we can move on? Obviously.
I'll give it a 9. I mean, I would have rated it a 10, but I just kind of have my thoughts about some areas. Basically, how we're going to create the character, dialogue, that type of stuff. Like, I'm really hoping it's not that bland type of dialogue.
No. I will tell you this right now. I have watched so far about 20 feudal Japan style arid samurai formatted movies.
Yep.
To kind of get an idea of how characters are going to be worked, and I'm going to promise you this: it's going to be fucking the good and bad and the ugly in Japan.
Good shit.
Are they going to speak English or?
Oh no! I want it to be English, but I want it to be. You can absolutely hear the Japanese.
Oh, so Japanese dub. Okay.
Japanese dub. I want to make it as authentic as humanly possible. Oh yeah, I can absolutely believe that this is the voice that they're hearing, and it's not just insert main character being Matthew Mercer or Troy Baker or Steve Blum Or insert 50 other white guys that are absolute voice actors.
Yeah.
Right.
That are incredible voice actors, but my god, they need to stop being in everything.
I know.
Let's
Yeah,
continue.
fair enough. Well, cool. So, what would that be, John? Because you're the math guy. You gave it a 7. Mike, Nikos, and I gave it a 9. So, what would that equal?
That would be an 8.
No, because one
The
of us.
average. The average would be about, it'd be an 8 and a 8.5, 8.25.
We'll say 8 1/4. So, hey, it's a passing grade. Woohoo!
Hey, it's still better than Assassin's Creed Egypt Edition.
Yes, that is very accurate.
Anything will be better than I am buggy as fuck and don't work 90% of the time.
I've encountered a lot of people who said Origins was the best. I'm like,
it's terrible.
The best is the original. You're never gonna beat the original.
Assassin's Creed 2 beats the original.
Right. So 1 or 2 is the best.
Ezio and his trilogy is one of the best well-designed characters in all of fucking Ubisoft's arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. So now let's move on to the next topic. We'll be quick about this. What is our favorite weapon in fiction? So anything from, I assume, comic books, video games, any of that. Nikos, we'll start with you this time. What's your favorite weapon?
Yeah, so I've been looking at a lot of weapons. In fact, this is the topic that I chose for this specific segment. Again, I've been looking over through a lot of video games and shows, but the one weapon that really stands out to me as like a really amazing weapon with no flaws whatsoever, and this may actually become quite a shock to you. It's the Infinity Blade from the mobile game Infinity Blade.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's literally the god-killing weapon.
So, you mean the Blade of Olympus?
Blade of Olympus, yeah, but I just kind of like the shape of the sword.
So aesthetically, that's more pleasing to you. Blade of Olympus.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And the damage that sword deals you when you're like a level 50 plus, it's ungodly.
You know what, James? I'll grab some images tonight, and so that way you can sprinkle them to the thing. So that way, people know.
I'll just here's Infinity Blade right there.
Especially Infinity Blade, the second model from Infinity Blade 3, I think.
Nikos, I think I might be able to beat yours because I have a 3D full rendered model.
All right, that's fine.
I see what you mean. It is. I like the golden trim.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a good trim to it.
Cool. Mike, what about you? What's your favorite weapon?
It's a dumb question to even ask.
I figured I know what it is because it's probably the same as mine.
Lightsaber?
Yep. Same. Yeah, lightsaber all day, man.
I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to beat a weapon that can physically cut through almost every single object in its own universe.
And not to mention,
I love the aesthetic of a good-looking lightsaber.
Yeah, I was about to say, like the lightsaber, the handle, obviously the different colors that it comes in, like everything about the lightsaber is fucking like god tier weapon.
Now there is one that I know I have to mention because if I don't, then somebody's gonna be like, "I can't believe you're not gonna talk about it." If I had to pick something that wasn't a lightsaber, and I don't have that as my option, I am 100% going to pick the Chaos Eater from Darksiders.
Right.
That fucking weapon is awesome. It is so sick. You will never get a cooler sword than, oh yeah, so it's bathed in the blood of about 1,000 demons. Oh, and it can, slice through the fabric of spirit.
How about you, John? What is your favorite fiction weapon in just general preference? What's your favorite fiction weapon?
I like to blow shit up. So I just do a typical RPG and just blow up everything in sight.
I'm surprised you didn't decide to go with the big fucking gun 9000. Push the button. Liquidize.
What specific RPG? Because there's a lot of video games that have the RPG.
The one I mainly use is from GTA 5. That's usually the one I definitely a lot of fun using.
That's fair.
All right, fair
In
enough.
particular on the pier. So that's like, you think it's like, oh, the cops are going to shoot me? Nope. Dead.
Dead. Fair enough. Okay, well, there you go. All right. Next up is what is our favorite...
Wait, did you say what was your favorite weapon?
Yeah, I said it. Lightsaber. Mike and I had
okay.
the same one, and then he also said if it wasn't lightsaber,
The Chaos Eater.
Chaos Eater. Yeah. So, for me, now, so we're gonna do the best saga, and is this like best saga, like personal preference, Mike, or
It's
just
a
best
personal
saga?
preference question of what your favorite saga is, so it has to be 6 movies.
Oh, 6 movies. Oh, okay.
Could it also be literature?
Yeah.
All right.
For me, saga. It has to at least be 6 movies.
It has to be at least 6 movies, or at least a long-running book series. Favorite pick's Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, but season 8 was terrible.
Yeah,
It is.
No.
Get wrecked, you fucking scrubs.
This is gonna be completely all right. So TV series is count, right?
Yes, you can also go TV because TV. If it's longer than a season and it goes past 3, it's a saga.
For me, because I was a weird child, I would have to say Family Guy, seasons 1 through 8.
That's fair.
Like that's my favorite incarnation of Family Guy. The later seasons are still okay, but it's nothing like seasons 1 through 8. There's so much story with seasons 1 through 8 and that cartoon.
Oh, by the way, Nikos, I'm incorrect. It's anything past 3 movies is a saga.
Oh.
Yeah.
Past 3 movies is a saga. You can change your answer.
God damn it! Then I would have fucking picked the freaking Reacher, Jack Reacher series. Fucking love Jack Reacher.
Okay, you do what you gotta do.
I like it. What do you want from me?
Okay, you have the right to like it. That's fine.
I don't know. I guess I like the series because it's all different. But yeah, probably my favorite saga is Family Guy seasons 1 through 8. John, what's your favorite saga?
Can we just say it's mine personally is the MCU one for the actual achievement of it to have from Iron Man 1 to the end of the Infinity Saga. I guess we'll put it as the whole.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though it has a couple hiccups, Captain Marvel, Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, just to name a couple.
So glad you said Captain Marvel.
That movie sucks. It sucks.
That is the least important character ever made in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, dude.
Yep. It's like, because a lot of them have great individual movies like Thor: Ragnarok, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Iron Man 1, where you can watch those on their own and they're still great movies, but if you watch them all like the entire time, you realize the overarching arc.
It's fucking brilliant. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely, it's in my top 3 for sure of favorite sagas of all time.
Good sir, do you want to do yours or do you want me to go for mine?
Go for yours.
Oh God, you know what I'm gonna pick. You fucking know what I'm gonna pick.
All right, tell you what, I'll go. Then you.
You know what I'm gonna pick. I mean, goddamn.
So for me, it's not so much as films, but rather from literature. And I've read a couple sagas in some classes, but I guess my favorite one would have to be Ale Saga, which is an old Icelandic saga of a certain warrior who fled from a young age from Norway, settled in Iceland, and was considered very respectable in the whole Viking world community.
So what you're saying is you're going Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Scandinavian, Icelandic, to each their own.
What about you, Mike?
James, I'm not even going to say it. Here's what
It's
we're
a dumb
going to do.
question.
It's a dumb question.
Right?
All I'm going to say is just pop the logo on the screen right now.
Yeah.
So
I know a lot of people are gonna be like, but the last 3 movies are fucking terrible, and so is Solo. I agree, and that's why I stick to the originals. Fucking
The original 3.
the original 3, the prequels, and probably Rogue One.
You include the
The prequels aren't. I don't know what people are talking about or how bad they are. I'm going through them now, and I'm like, they're not terrible. They're better than fucking Disney's attempt at a trilogy.
that's very true.
There's at least an
John,
overall.
he does have you there.
It's an overarching story.
It's a better like I have a feeling it was made from beginning to end, but
Yes.
there's just giant portions of the movie where I'm just bored out of my mind. Like Phantom Menace, you can cut out and you miss not like you can cut out the first 2 movies of the prequel trilogy and miss nothing.
Oh, I agree.
All you need is the Revenge of the Sith. That's it.
Oh, I agree. But here's the whole thing. I enjoy Phantom. I know I'm gonna get flack from John on this one, but I'll say it anyway. I really enjoy the Phantom Menace because of honestly, it's not that boring to get all the way through.
Oh no, it's the problem is that it's not boring. It's just that the decisions that they made are just so baffling.
True, but when you get to the end thing of the Empire, it's like, oh, it is because of these decisions that they were super fucked. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so in a sense, it was done on purpose. At least they fucked up on purpose for the actual plot.
They fucked up on purpose to lead to Luke and have the best trilogy ever made.
Yeah,
I know. I understand like the purpose of them. I'm not saying they're absolutely pointless, but all you need is the 3rd movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
here's a question.
I think you absolutely. But I have to disagree for one factor that you absolutely do need the Phantom Menace because it does help the idea of why, or how the fuck do you discover Anakin? How did that whole thing go about? How does Obi-Wan connect with him for the first time? How did fucking he get trained by Obi-Wan?
Which should be a lot cooler than it is, but that's
right.
I think to an extent that movie, I think those 3 get a lot of flack, even though I agree that Revenge of the Sith is fantastic. That's the fucking best way that you could ever end your trilogy.
It's the best. It's the best one outside of the main trilogy.
Yeah, it's the best one outside of the main trilogy.
Yep.
I do agree with the fact that you could absolutely cut the first and second movie. However, if you do cut the first and second movie, you do have a bunch of questions that can't be answered unless you've watched the first and second movie.
In that regard, it does its job.
It does its job. Those 2 movies, I will say that Attack of the Clones is the fucking weakest of them all.
Oh, it's the shit.
So trash.
It is the weakest of them all. But without Attack of the Clones, you would not have Jango creating Boba, meeting Boba as a kid, the most fucking the most overmarketed Star Wars character who appears in like 3 scenes.
Yep.
Ever, and like one part of like a shitty fucking Christmas movie. But without those 3 movies, without I will call it the saga because my god, Empire is the best. Yeah, Empire Revenge of the Sith. The bad guys win is the best stories.
Yeah, no.
What the fuck? It's just, as I said, I would rather have that than the Disney schlock. It's fucking
like it is
so discouraging.
Like,
it's so bad.
It's one of those things where you compare the Marvel MCU saga.
Oh, they had no plan.
Compared
they
to the
absolutely
nowadays
had
Star Wars saga. Disney's hands all over the Star Wars saga. Nowhere near the MCU.
No, not even close. Like no. they had no plan, and it really shows like again like do I feel like the prequels are better? Yes, but that's like being the shortest midget.
Now
it's not a big accomplishment.
Here's a question.
Well, it's not. But you know what? At least I can sit there and say I can watch 1 through 3 and go, these characters are making dumb decisions. But I know what it leads to, so it's because of these dumb decisions that it leads to these moments. I don't know how we go from the planet Jakku to Starkiller Base to Luke's Island to planet that's covered in dust, but not really. It's a red planet, but covered in dust.
Mm-hmm.
to Palpatine returning, and it's so fucking. It's such a cash grab. It's such a cash grab trilogy. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
Or at least you understand that Lucas was like, "Fuck it, I need to."
I
need the backstory of how all this shit happened. And you're like, cool.
Lucas had a plan.
Not fantastic, but they exist and they're not terrible.
Yeah, it's like Lucas had a plan. It was, and in my opinion, I was like, if I don't need the first two, I don't bother watching them.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's a question, Mike. Would you, if you're talking about that, would you include the shit that was made not canon, like the video games, the comics, all that?
Oh my god! Please don't do this to me, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on a rant.
Just a simple yes or no, and then we'll move on. And that way.
But I'm definitely talking about it on the next podcast because I have some shit to say on that front. Yeah. Metachlorians are a stupid decision, but it's way better than saying Force Lightning is a genetic trait.
Yes, very true.
They're two cuts of the same cloth.
Have him go on a rant, please. It's quite late.
Yes, I'd rather not do that tonight. I'd rather not go into a fucking hour-long rant about me.
Yeah, and besides, we got two topics.
Science.
we can get through relatively quick. Top 5 underrated games. I'll be quick with mine. Pole Position, I feel like, has always been an underrated game. Mario Kart Double Dash has always been underrated to me. This is in no particular order, by the way. Split Second is absolutely underrated for what they did for that racing game. That's super underrated. Somehow they're not popular, but Forza is. I don't know. NASCAR Thunder 2004 and 3. That's my favorite those are my two favorite NASCAR games of all time, and I feel like it just doesn't get a lot of love. It really doesn't. And number one, well, not number one. Again, no particular order, but I guess my last one I guess it would have to be Brawl, just because a lot of people like the later games of Smash and the earlier games of Smash over Brawl. Like, if you had to rank it, like with objectively, Brawl's probably at the bottom tier, where everything else is like great, good to great to even fantastic in the case of Melee. And
but Brawl has tripping, so you lose.
Yeah.
That's how you ruin your game.
But it does. But I still enjoyed Brawl because of the story, and it was the only game with the story, and I really enjoyed the story, even though there was some flaws to it, and the characters that they got for that game, including Snake and Sonic and Ike and Captain Falcon, those were my main guys that I always played as. So yeah, I don't know. I just a personal preference, and I always think it's always underrated. I feel like they give it a lot of shit compared to everything else. So there you go. Nikos, what about you? Top 5 underrated games, quickly.
So, top 5. Number 5, I would have to say The Saboteur. For those of you who don't know the game, basically...
Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, so good.
Irishmen...
Fuck the Nazis.
Just... destroying all Nazi bases in Paris. That's cool. What's really amazing about that game that a lot of people don't even consider is that when the Nazis have strongholds in Paris, the screen is just black and white.
Black and white with red as the primary color.
With red, yep. And when it's lifted, color returns.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. I like the story too, where you just get to play as a badass Irishman.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get on a Nazi blimp and blow it the fuck up.
Led Zeppelin on that shit.
What's next?
Number 4. It's an online. No, it's not online. It's a. Well, actually, no. Yeah, it is online. It's For Honor. I know that game was popular for at least when it came out, but afterwards it died down.
It was popular for about a week, my dude.
It was a week, and then it just nobody got into it. I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
The only reason why I know that is because of the fact I went to GameStop. They had the poster up for like, yeah, dude, For Honor's gonna be fucking sick. You get to play as Vikings and Samurai Knights. And then like the next week, all the posters were down. I went, what happened? They go,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
super well.
A lot of people just took that shit to the bank. I don't know. I have no idea, but
Hey, maybe they spoiled the ending in a Let's Play, and that's why people didn't do it. I don't know.
yeah, but dude, there's no story to tell. It's just
I don't know.
guys. Okay, it's basically nowadays it's your David and Goliath fights,
Right.
and
How
the
about-
Goliath always wins.
True. How about 3? What's 3?
3.
Yeah.
It's a co-op game called A Way Out. I mean, it's a game that I tried to buy for me and my cousin to play because it's really interesting where you play as 2 criminals who have the same villain, but there's this really good twist at the end of the game, which I'm not going to spoil, you know, because I don't want to get this video like
I'll
flagged.
give you a hint. You get out.
Yeah, you get out, but there's a choice, which is so convoluted, and all this fuckery comes at you at once.
This dumb fuckery.
But it's a really good game.
That's my Marvel superhero character name, Dumb Fuckery.
Yeah. He's so OP.
Skull Thuggery has entered the stage. Number 4, good sir.
No, we're at
2.
number 2.
Yeah, number 2, Mad Max 2016.
Yeah,
Choice?
I see that.
Only reason why is, like, a lot of people don't really understand the story, and in fact, I remember when the game was announced for E3, a lot of people petitioned that game to change Max's voice actor because they got him sounding American, which I agree, it does not fit Max at all. But throughout the game, it's really enjoyable. You get to blow shit up, you get to do some stuff when you're bored after the game, like liberate towers, liberate all areas of the map, and you can also loot around for scraps, you know, to upgrade your car and health.
Nikos, you're describing Lord of the Rings Middle Earth. Sorry, Shadow of Mordor.
Well, same thing for... Wait, is that game also made by Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Fucking goddamn it, Warner Brothers.
Well, if we're talking Warner Brothers, I should also preface that by saying honorable mention would probably be Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, I guess.
Underrated? That game's actually, like, very highly up there. That was, like, a big game.
Not in my circles, dude. Not a lot of people talk about it.
Really? It's a good fucking game. Good soundtrack, Five Finger Death Punches in it. It's a super good game.
It is. For
Early
my
Five Finger Death Punch before nowadays.
For my honorable mention is going to be Vampire. I don't know why it just kind of came to mind.
You mean the vampire? I am a Dr. Vampire.
Yeah, basically that.
And then what's your
Paging Dr. Blood? Paging Dr. There are Dr. Blood in the house.
All right, for my number 1, I'm not going to give the name. I'm basically just going to let you guys know what it is. Example.
FK in the coffee.
FK in the coffee.
What is that?
Deadly Premonition, good sir. You are so welcome, good sir. I'm glad I was able to get you on the trek towards that fucking crazy nonsense of a game.
Just so underrated.
It's so underrated, but it's so fucking crazy because it's the best Twin Peaks adaptation ever.
Exactly.
All right. Let's go to John next. And John, what are your top 5? And you don't have to do it in a particular order like Nico said. You could just do what I did and just go in no particular order. And if you have an honorable mention, you can mention it.
John, you there?
John, good? John!
Johnny.
Hold it.
No.
Good?
Yes, Papa. Beat you with the bat.
John, what are your top 5 underrated games? You could just do it in no particular order.
I only have 3.
If you have 3 is better than nothing.
Okay, I have Scalar. It's a game where basically it's a platforming lizard. Spyro Hero's Tale, and then Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Really?
Good
That's
shit.
Is it underrated?
I mean, it's fantastic. It's like one of the best Mario stories you're ever gonna get.
Is there any? If you had to pick two more, you could pick sports games, wrestling games, something like that.
Underrated. Everything by THQ. It's underrated.
So those are your top three then?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. That'll work. All right, Mike, you're last up. What do you got? Top five?
Mirror's Edge.
Yes.
It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best open world games you're gonna get. Let me think. I want to say, because my fucking brain is being dumb.
Oh, can I point out there is one complaint I've always had with Mirror's Edge, the original, that it's so fucking bright. Oh my!
Oh yeah, it's super bright, but it's supposed to because the city's called the City of Glass. It's what you're expecting.
Yeah, I know, but oh man, is it like hurt?
All you gotta do is
I would watch you play it.
Listen, all you gotta do is bring the gamma down, and that's all you gotta do, and then it's fine. Brutal Legend.
Yes.
I think it's so fucking fun. I wanna say. Mad World.
Yes. Yeah, Mad World. That's a fucking.
It is super fucking good, and it shouldn't be. Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
The Assault on the Dark Athena is also very good. It's a very good fucking game that allows you to play as Riddick for the first time.
Didn't know that was a game.
Oh yeah, it's super good. If you want to play as Riddick, go right ahead. And I'm gonna say my last one's gonna be Halo 3 ODST. It's super fucking underrated as a game, but it's super good.
It used to be fucking like cult following back in the day.
Not really. No, you weren't a part of the Halo.
Yes, back.
No, you weren't a part of the Halo community then, dude.
The whole reason Keemstar even got his start on YouTube was because of Halo 3.
It was because of Halo 3, but not Halo 3 ODST. Halo 3 ODST is an expansion, I guess you could call it, of Halo 3. It's not. Trust me, I played it. It's not Halo 3, but it's.
I know it was popular at least in my house when my brother used to live with me.
And if I had to give another one, I would probably. If I had to give another example, I'm going to say The Crew.
Yeah.
I love open world driving games because of the fact I get to just sit there and go, dude, fuck races. I want to go all the way up to the Rocky Mountains and just drive around for like the next 2.5 hours.
Another honorable mention for me, and then we'll wrap it up here. You talk about, because you and I had so much fucking fun with it, and it's not as like talked about as like GTA and stuff in that regard. Saints Row 2.
Saints Row 2 is super talked about.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not much. Like, it's like everyone talks about GTA, everyone talks about Saints Row 3 and fucking 4.
Dude, Saints Row 2 is the best story. Like, that is the reason why everybody talks about Saints Row 3 is because it's like story based. It's fucking terrible. Saints Row 2's story is fantastic.
It is, yeah.
It's like a super good story. If you're talking about like underrated fucking games, I mean, True Crime Streets of LA. Yeah, that's underrated. Fucking Def Jam. That doesn't get talked about ever.
I just don't see a lot of conversation about Saints Row 2.
No, because that's the whole thing. That game is so good, you don't need it. You don't need to have a conversation about it. That's how good it is.
I don't know.
You know exactly what you're getting when you start playing that fucking game, dude.
All right.
Another honorable mention. Just a really quick one.
Yep.
Spec Ops: The Line.
Fuck, dude. Oh, I almost forgot about that shit. I'm so glad you finally agree with me that game is fucked beyond belief, but it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good, dude. That's a fantastic game to get through in like one sitting. It's like, holy shit.
Let's move on to the last topic, obviously, because it's the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question
Actually, I finally remembered my topic that I thought I forgot about, but I'm not even going to bother talking about it. For
We can
those
do it next
wondering
time.
where the AEW news is coming, we're going to wait until the next Dynamite, because that will give us... there's not a lot that happened the last 2 weeks. There will be more that happens, obviously, with the current situation when it comes to the TNT tournament. So that's when we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week.
Yep.
Now we'll talk about the final topic.
Ladies and gentlemen, who's sitting at home going, I want some delicious food? Well, I hate to say this, but a furniture company has some delicious food. IKEA.
You heard it here right, fellas.
John's sitting there going, I'm sorry, what? Y'all ever eat some Swiss meatballs? Because that shit's fantastic. So IKEA finally, after years holding this shit behind lock and key, has finally released the recipe for the incredible Swiss meatballs. And I have that entire list on me.
Go.
We're talking about 1.1 pounds of ground beef, a half pound of ground pork, 1 onion, finely chopped, 1 clove of garlic. You can either do crushed or minced, that's up to you. 1.5 ounces of breadcrumbs, an egg, 5 teaspoons of whole milk, and salt and pepper for taste. For the cream, the crème sauce, a dash of oil, 1.4 ounces of butter, 1.4 ounces of flour, 5 fluid ounces of vegetable stock, 5 fluid ounces of beef stock, 5 fluid ounces of thick double cream, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, and 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
I know what I'm making.
It's super good.
Now, here's a question. Am I blasphemous if I want to make just the meatballs and not the sauce and use them for spaghetti and meatballs? I've always wanted to try the IKEA style meatballs in spaghetti.
I would recommend, if you're going to do it, do a half and half dish. So let me explain. You can actually marinate the outer layer of a meatball in the sauce. And then what you do is you refrigerate it for like a day. So what it will do is it will create the shell around the meatball that is the sauce.
Okay.
And it's fucking fantastic. And
Have you had that? Have you actually had that before?
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic. Dude,
remind me once the shit ends, cook that shit and let's see.
Oh, we all gonna cook
I've never had it. I've never had it that way.
Dude, y'all be making y'all be making Interforce cooking show now?
Fuck it. Hey, we're starting the butt mashers up again. Why the hell not?
Welcome to the Indy Force Cooking Show. On this show, we're gonna be cooking shit.
Well, Casey's our main chef. Say hi, Casey. Hello.
Casey cooks food.
Casey died in Miami.
No, but if you're looking for like something sweet during this little time period, I gotta remember my old man's recipe. But if you want fucking kielbasa, hot dog, meatball slices, sausage, and I believe the last one being Spam? Which
Spam, because ham sucks.
I said Spam.
Yeah. The Spam ham is trash. I don't like it.
Wait till you hear the way that you're supposed to cook this thing.
Okay, go ahead.
You grab your local crock pot, whatever you can find. I think it is ketchup with a mix of brown sugar. And then, if I remember what the last bit to the sauce is pineapple juice. And you mix it all together for about 45 minutes to almost an hour, so you get a nice general mix, and then you put everything in there, mix it around for a good 10-15 minutes, and then you close it up and let it stew in the crock pot for a couple hours. It's fantastic. It's good eats. You may not like Spam, but when you have sweet and sour Spam, you're like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm a cooking junkie when I can. When I'm allowed to go near the stove, I am a cooking fucking maniac when I can be.
All right. Well, that was pretty much it. So there you go. Now you know how to make a key.
If you're watching this and you're hungry, well, I'm sorry, and so am I. But
John has to go to bed soon, so I think that was a very good episode. This is a very fun episode.
We shall say good nights to Johnny boy.
John, if there's anything you need to plug, obviously plug it.
No, I don't. I don't have anything to plug. I have to get up for 6, so I'm still gonna be
It's cool, brother. If you have anything that you want to plug, just send it to James in like sometime tomorrow. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll put it into the description of the video.
And let me know how you enjoyed let me know how you like this show, obviously, because I know we went a little over 3 hours, like I originally said, but I appreciate you coming on at the clutch, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, bro. Take care.
Bye.
Peace.
All right, and with that,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is the Indy Force, and we are gonna say goodnight to you on the J-Hebert side.
Yes, and here's the outro music. I don't know what it's gonna be, but you're probably hearing it now. So,
we love it, boys and girls. We love it when a plan comes together. Good night.